Government is kind of like the government gonna pay you to shut up. We're gonna pay you to shut up. Let's pay you to keep them sick. We give enough money to keep them sick, but let us do our thing. So it's like a two-way monster. How you defeat something like that? Like something so.
Well, the thing is, when you talk about healing in African people, we have to do that ourselves.
Yep.
Because racism is still alive and well. The white man hasn't apologized, not sincerely, for anything he's ever done to black people. They're not going to stop. So the healing has to be done while we're on the battlefield. And that's a very, very difficult thing to do. Because if you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, if you suffer from Gulf War syndrome, how do you treat that while you're still in the Gulf? How do you treat that when you're still at war? So black people are not only traumatized, we are re-traumatized, through our experience. I would even argue that a lot of what's considered ADHD in our boys, a lot of it is neighborhood traumatization by way of bullying, witnessing street violence, domestic violence, and other types of violence. When you look at the symptoms of ADHD, many of them are shared in common with a child who's dealing with post-traumatic stress. They're also similar to symptoms of a child who's dealing with attachment disorder. Father in jail, grandmom died, mother got her taken away. Those are all attachment-related issues. Now, here's the thing. When the little white boys, when their parents get a divorce, his behavior is treated as a consequence of attachment disorder. You understand? If he lost somebody to death recently, his aggression in the classroom will be treated as an adjustment disorder. That little white boy is not going to be ushered off to the psychologist, the psychiatrist, or the pediatrician for a diagnosis and prescription, because white people care about their children. They don't care about our children. And as a result of that, when black boys exhibit symptoms of internal mental health issues, instead of showing some compassion, some care, some concern, when it comes to the black boy, it's all about controlling the uncontrollable animal. They quickly rush him off to get a diagnosis of a disruptive behavior disorder, followed up with some medication. A lot of these boys taking these drugs, diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder, disruptive behavior disorder, conduct disorder, ADHD, they don't have none of that at all. They're dealing with family problems, neighborhood problems, peer problems, sibling problems, and of course the everyday racism that traumatizes you as well from having to deal with racist, white, hostile women every day.
Do you think enough of us are waking up to where we can combat this and start moving in a better direction, or it's going to be a very, very long uphill battle?
It's going to be a very, very long uphill battle for a couple of reasons, good brother. I'll just give you three, though. One of them, white folks in white capitalism have convinced black people that you can buy your way out of unhappiness. They've also convinced black people that they can buy their way out of slavery. So you have Negroes across this country, 50 million. Many of them are out right now as we have this conversation, shopping for Christmas gifts because they think they can buy their way out of oppression, out of slavery, and out of misery. And that's credit to the white power structure for convincing black people that if you just make enough money, if you just buy a good enough car, if you just move into a house that's in a white enough neighborhood, you will start to feel better about yourself. And what Negroes often end up finding out, and this is what I call buyer's remorse. Okay, black people often suffer from buyer's remorse. You bought the Mercedes, and for the first 2 months, it did make you feel better, but you were not happy. That was just a feeling of euphoria. That was just the honeymoon period. And after 8 weeks, that Mercedes is now starting to bother you because you got to pay that insurance, you got to pay that gas, people trying to break in, you getting scratch marks, and you go through buyer's remorse. Most black people, after Christmas, they go through a buyer's remorse where you regret having wasted all this money because at the end of the day, nothing outside of you can make you feel better. All mental health, all mental treatment, all mental transformation must take place within the inside. So number one, it's an uphill battle because Negroes are out trying to shop their way to freedom. That's number one. Number two, it's going to be an uphill battle because most black people would much rather hide the mental health issues behind their materialism. So we do a good job of that too. I just got to look like I'm a healthy person. I don't actually have to be a healthy person. And credit again for this goes to the white power structure, because they convinced everybody in America, not only black people, that America is a civilization. We do not live in a civilization. There is nothing civilized about this country. You could probably argue there's nothing civilized about this world. You got people running into school shooting children. You got people walking into supermarkets murdering dozens of people. You have children committing suicide. Black girls right now, at least the last time I checked, in the post-COVID era, our 14 to 17-year-old princesses leave this country in teenage suicide, in suicide period. The middle-aged white man was the one most likely to commit suicide for most of American history. Post-COVID, it became a teenage black girl. So you got suicide, you got opioid crisis, you still got crack out here. You understand me? You got domestic violence, black on black crime, white on white crime, government sanctioned executions. There is nothing civilized about this country, but it's technologically sophisticated. And what the white man has done, he's convinced black people in all of America that because you have a cell phone, because you can ride an airplane, because you have a tablet, because you have a video game system, because you have a car with heated seats and a radio in it, because you got Alexa in your house that you can talk to and turn off the lights and turn on the TV and turn up the heat, because you have technological sophistication, you are civilized. Technologically sophisticated societies are not civilized societies. Civilized societies are places where people are treated in a civil way. And people are not treated in a civil way in this country. You cannot have civilization alongside capitalism. Capitalism is the ownership of wealth by the few, which they accrue through the exploitation of the many. That means most people will be homeless. Most people will be hungry. Most people will barely be making ends meet. Most people will be destitute. 10% of Americans have more wealth than the other 90%. How can this qualify as a civilization? And that is a big piece of the mental health crisis that you're talking about, which is why I always say, until we start talking about giving black men livable wage jobs so they can feed their families, until we start talking about giving black men livable wage jobs so they can feed their families, we cannot talk seriously about solving mental health, because the best way to make a black man feel better is to give him a job with benefits.
Yeah.
For you, doctor, how do you think the suppression of our history affects the way we perceive ourselves?
The greatest black psychologist of all time, a fellow Garveyite, Dr. Amos Wilson, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that a person's estimation of their self-worth is largely contingent upon what they understand their people to have been and done in times before they were born. So without question, the lack of knowledge of self exerts an excruciating amount of influence on the way that our children think, feel, and behave. We have to give them restorative history. We have to give them corrective history. With that being said, I want to add this disclaimer. You can teach black children who they are all day long until they are blue in the face. But if black children do not see themselves receiving the same kinds of opportunities that yellow children receive, the same types of opportunities that brown children receive, the same types of opportunities that white children receive, if they do not see themselves receiving those same types of opportunities, ultimately everything you taught them about themselves will ultimately be irrelevant. When I speak at prisons, right? And the prisons are filled with knowledgeable brothers, filled with woke brothers, filled with conscious brothers. They done read entire libraries in that prison. But guess what? They're still behind bars. And guess what? When they get out, despite knowing everything there is to know about ancient African civilization, despite knowing everything there is to know about political science in Black America, despite knowing everything there is to know about the Black liberation struggles, despite being a master of African history, they will end up in jail within 1 year with all that knowledge if somebody doesn't give them a job when they get out. So knowledge of self is important, but without opportunities, we will still breed criminals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I read one of your quotes, and then I'm gonna just read. It said, "We don't have the luxury of being one-dimensional, even though we are in a state of crisis. We don't act like it." Do you still that's still relevant today?
Absolutely. It's even more relevant now because when we look at the conscious community, I see a lot of brothers and sisters who are one dimensional. And they try to justify being one dimensional. They say, well, I'm just putting the information out. I've decided to just put the information out. Well, what if Frederick Douglass sat behind a desk and said, well, I'm just going to produce the North Star. I'm just going to produce the Frederick Douglass paper. You know, what if Harriet Tubman or Ida B. Wells or Fannie Lou Hamer, Dr. King, Malcolm, Medgar, George, Jonathan, Huey, Fred, what if they all just said, we're not going to do no work. We just want to teach the people. My job is to teach the people. And the reason why you have all these intellectual masturbators on YouTube is because they're not committed enough and they're too lazy enough to get off of the internet and do some real work. You cannot be one dimensional at all. I save children every day. I evaluate children. I'm building the school. I'm helping people with their personal problems. I'm contributing to the building of other institutions, different programs. I'm trying to do all I can in the short time that the Creator has given me on this in this lifetime to do. Yes, you have to specialize in certain things. As in the mental health and education of African children, I'm specializing in the reconstructive education of our people. I'm specializing in the building of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. But I can't just do one thing. When you are at war and somebody says we need some water, do you say I can't get no water because I'm just a sniper. Snipers don't get water. You do whatever you gotta do so your people can win the war. I can even draw a parallel to Deion Sanders. Not to spend too much money on him, too much time on him. And I have tremendous respect for Deion. But
yes,
that's the Deion Sanders, Shannon Sharp argument. That's the Deion Sanders, Shannon Sharp argument. You know, the problem of the HBCUs is not the problem of one man. The problem of the HBCUs was there before Deion.
Yep.
The problem of slavery was there before Frederick Douglass. The problem of slavery was there before Harriet Tubman. What if they would have said, oh, it's too big for me. I'm walking away. I can't do this by myself. When you love your people, you do whatever you need to do to transform their reality. Deion had a chance to transform the reality. The problem with people like Deion Sanders and Shannon Sharp is they have more commitment to their own personal agenda than the best interest of the Black community. And that's really what this comes down to. What do we value more? The attainment of our own personal agenda or the best interest in liberation and salvation of our people? For example, I can go right back to the white educational mental health establishment right now, and I would be a millionaire in 1 year. I lie to you not. I would be a millionaire if I recanted everything I said about special ed and ADHD and psychiatric meds and psychiatric racism. If I recanted with my popularity and my presence in the world, if I went back to the white power structures mental health system right now, I'd be a millionaire in a year. That's how much money they're paying for these evaluations. That's how much money they're paying for people to get these evaluations done. Just as much as I've influenced parents against special ed, I could go back and influence parents towards special ed, and I would be a millionaire. I'd probably be the director of the American Psychological Association in 5 years. But guess what? I love my people. My heart and soul has always been in the Black liberation struggle. Although I've always wanted to be a psychologist since a child, the priority for me is Black liberation, not my personal agenda. Deion chose $5 million a year over the long-term success and survival of the HBCU system. Again, some people would say that's okay because they don't care about the best interests of the Black community. But for those of us who are truly about liberation, Shannon Sharp is wrong for not dating Black women, and Deion Sanders is wrong for going to the University of Colorado with a 1.6 Black student ratio.
Gotcha. Now, with your FDMG Academy, I'm trying to say, what are you doing that that's going to change or break these cycles that we have in our community with our young, so they could change the future? Because the change is going to come with the next generation. So
well, as I said earlier, until you have a psychological revolution, you change nothing else. The whole purpose of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is to serve as a psychological reconstruction clinic. We are there to transform the way that our young people think so they can be the leaders that the African race leads tomorrow. Frederick Douglass's quote, is the main motto of our school. It is better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. What we're going to do, no other school has ever done, and that is reshape the way Black people think about themselves one generation at a time through our children.
I believe in what you said. I believe in so much you're saying when you say we neglect our pain and trauma. So I'm gonna just ask you something I never been told as a Black man, as a Black father. How do you? I never been told how do you start to pay attention to it? What do you start to pay? Like, how do you start to pay attention to it? Because I hear so much, neglected, or be strong, or don't do this as a Black man. But how do you open up and really start to pay attention to it? I mean,
pay attention to. How do we start paying attention to what, good brother? I didn't hear that piece.
Oh, I'm sorry. How you said we neglect pain and trauma. We neglect our pain and trauma. But I never been taught how to pay. I've been taught to neglect, but how to start. How do you pay attention to it?
Like how you address it?
Open up to pay attention to it. Because I don't get taught that at all.
I follow what you're saying, and that's why when you study spirituality and you study some of the great spiritual teachers, they always taught what. In fact, there's a quote, and I think it comes from Buddha. It might have been Buddha, who was a Black man. It could have been Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the prophet of Islam. He was also a Black man. But one of them said that in the struggle between you and the world and you and yourself, you should second the world. Because until you've achieved victory over yourself, no other victory will be real. It is very difficult to engage in self-transformation. Why? Because you have an ego. We all have an ego. Yeah. And your ego's job is to constantly present an ideal picture of you to yourself. So in order to stare down your demons, in order to grow past the assumptions you make about your perfect self, you have to go beyond the ego. And this is why it's so hard for people to see their own faults, but they can see everyone else's, because the ego does not major in self-improvement. The ego majors in the stability of our self-image. And this is also a big reason why a lot of our relationships don't work out, because we have a certain image of ourselves, and then we get into a relationship with a significant other, and they start to highlight aspects of our personality that are less than perfect that they think we need to work on. And we don't want nobody telling us what's wrong with us. We want people to cheerlead us and worship us and honor us and serve us. And a lot of relationships get ended prematurely because you have one partner who's trying to help you become the best you can be, but you're not interested in being the best you can be. You just want to be the best facade that you can be. And so to answer your question, my brother, in order to engage in self-growth, that takes a lot of willpower. That takes a lot of self-analysis. That takes a lot of hours in solitude alone, evaluating and studying yourself, and never, ever shrinking from an opportunity to point out a fault in the character you are. It's tough. It's like the person on drugs. The first thing they want to do is rationalize the drug use. The person who's overweight, they want to rationalize their overweightness. You understand me? The shopaholic wants to rationalize this shopaholicism. It's the way Black women rationalize blonde hair, right? You say, why you got that blonde hair on? Well, I just like the color. No, you don't. Because white women, that's their ideal hair color. White is blonde. And you want to be as close to them as possible because that's what you've been told is beautiful. It's the same reason why Black men date outside the race, right? But they will rationalize, well, I just fell in love with her. It had nothing to do with race. Yes, it did. It had everything to do with race, you low self-esteem coon. Yes, it did. You understand? So you got to realize the ego isn't interested in transformation. The ego is interested in preservation of who you are. And that's why self-transformation is one of the hardest things you can do. Remember this, we all have a physical age, a physical biological age. That changes every year. You don't have to do anything in order to go up in age physically. You're going to be a year older no matter what. But guess what? Psychologically, you do not get older every year automatically. The only way you grow psychologically is to put yourself through the process of psychological growth. Every one of us has a physical age, and every one of us has a psychological age. You might be 40 physically. You might be 12 psychologically.
Yeah.
You might be 60 physically. You might be 30 psychologically. For example, we've all seen a beautiful, attractive Black woman in her late 60s, early 70s. She's still fine, still got it going on, but a bit too old to be thinking she can still wear those mini skirts outside with the stilettos. You know why she's still doing that? She's trapped. Something happened to her early on in her life, and she is trapped in that 30-year-old body. And that's with 30-year-old mind, because she's in a 70-year-old body now, where she got that 30-year-old mind, and that's where she's going to stay until she decides to embark upon the painful road of self-transformation.
Gotcha. Now, the people that's watching, if you like the knowledge that's being dropped, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, and put your input in the chat. There was a question brought by Brainwave Relaxation. He asked, is it better to control the mind or the emotions? Or your feelings?
Well, the emotions are part of a mind. Those are not separate. The emotions are a part of the mind. So an aspect of the mind that you're needing to control is your emotions. But let me say this about the emotion. Emotions and memory go hand in hand. This is why people who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder can often relive their memories so vividly. They relive them so well that they think that they're re-experiencing the actual event, because the area of the brain that's responsible for emotion is also responsible for memory. So the more emotional an experience was for you, the more traumatic it will be. And this is why all great spiritual teachers in history and even religions now, they teach you control of emotion, especially when you're in traumatic situations. Because if you let yourself go emotionally, that is so much more that you're going to be traumatized by that situation, especially when those recurring memories come on up. But controlling your mind does not mean suppressing the content. A lot of people think controlling the mind is suppressing my emotions, suppressing my thoughts. No, no, no. You have to bring everything from the unconscious up to the conscious mind to be processed. It's like cleaning out your basement. Your basement is your unconscious mind. You got a lot of stuff in the basement. Some stuff you're going to keep, some stuff you're going to throw out, some stuff you're going to wash and repack. And so what we have to do to get healthy, bring it all up. Bring up the sexual molestation, bring up the rape, bring up your mother's abandonment, bring up your father's emotional abuse, bring up your big brother's sibling bullying, you know, bring up the peer shame you felt in school, bring up all the girls who wouldn't talk to you when you was in high school, bring up the so ugly. Reassign a new meaning to that experience. I'll give you an example. I was going through something recent personally, right? And I said, wow, why am I going through this? You know, I felt like I had bad luck or something. And then I said, you know what? The reason you're going through this is so you don't make this mistake when you open up the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. So what I had to do was step back and say, wait a minute. These sets of circumstances that I'm dealing with over here in my personal life, if I look at it from a different perspective, it's actually training me for how to handle those same types of circumstances when they come up at the school. So we have to make sure we're taking disempowering memories and reinterpreting them so they give us a new powerful view on things. Remember, there is no such thing as actual reality. The brain doesn't know the difference between a dream and you could get into a fight in your dream tonight. Your body will respond as if you fought somebody in real life. The brain can't tell the difference between make-believe and reality. This is why gangster rap is so toxic. This is why violent video games are so toxic. This is why violent movies are so programming to people, because your brain don't know the difference, whether you went through it in a dream, went through it on TV or went through it in real life, your body, your mind, your memory will respond the same way. We have to use that law. We have to use the laws of psychology and the laws of spirituality to make sure we are building strong African consciousness and strong African subconsciousness.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to say something real quick. It's very important that I say this, that when we talk about our communities, if we don't understand how we can better communicate with each other, the issues that we have, don't think the police are going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
The police is going to be there to take you and your problem and will put you in jail. Now, the solution to that, to these issues that we're having, because it is an ongoing cycle, ongoing problem.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm seeing and what I have seen is that we're seeing the mothers are younger, the father's not present in the home, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So now the child is having problems, difficulties. The mama has problems, difficulties. The daddy has problems, the daddy ain't there. So you got all people with all different problems, and no one knows how to solve that problem because it's a cycle. So then now when you get the police involved, they're not going to have patience unless it's one of our own kind. We have a better understanding. But nonetheless, to come up with solutions and to solve that problem, police officers and law enforcement can handle the overwhelming problems with mental illness, mental problems within our communities and as a whole. So what must happen is that once a person who understands and has the passion like Dr. Umar and people like myself and the stuff that I have going on and what I wanted, the solutions that I have, you have to be able to find someone within law enforcement, within the health industry, pharmaceutical, whatever you want to do. But most importantly, it's going to be between the police who's going to come there for a problem. If the problem gets out of hand, it has to involve police. So what you do is that this is very important, is that you have to have someone in between, someone who knows the families in the communities, and then that information to the specific law enforcement who would then know that particular home or issues in that community, in that area, so that when the police does come and they don't know the issue, they're not going to have and waste any time. That's where the violence comes in. That's when the police brutality comes in. That's when, because now you're going back to the mental illness, you're dealing with the emotional person. And unfortunately, a lot of police officers are looking for that to get you hemmed up, to get the mother, to get the child hemmed up. So there's different alternatives now. There's solutions in place that can solve those problems. But how can you do that if you don't know how to deal with it when you constantly in that issue? It goes back to what Dr. Umar said again about the spiritual side. You have to know yourself, and then we have to always get back to the main source that we've always had as Black people. We had each other. Now, if a Black person in any hood right now has an issue, they don't have no one to go to. They don't have Dr. Umar, who's way over there in Philadelphia. They don't have it here. Umar's not here in Houston who they can go to. So what do you have? You have to have some resources, not government resources, because they're restricted on what they can and cannot do. Because how do I know that? Because I've seen it happen time and time again. So the problem is now is that we got to be sure that once we recognize our problems, be able to have that ability to communicate that problem effectively to people who are concerned, that can get the proper help to and relay that to the police officers. And that's where I come in, and that's where my vision is and my purpose is want to spread that kind of thing, but what Dr. Umar is saying. So the issue is definitely there, and it ain't going to stop unless we come into our senses, calm down, recognize where the problems come from. We already know. Dr. Umar has already stated that. We know all the issues we have. Now we just have to have the ability to make sure that we get the systems and the issues in place where it's like a 911. We call 911 for help, But this is another avenue towards 911 because 911 ain't even helping us now.
One thing I want to say in response to the brother and in support of what he said, first off, when a mother has to call the police on her son or daughter who's having a mental health crisis, the shame and the blame for that is on every Black man in our community. No Black woman should have to go outside of her community to get someone to counsel or calm down one of her children. You said something earlier, and basically it spoke to what I'm going to say now. The village is our solution.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Black people in America, we do not operate as a village and have not operated as a village since desegregation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mexicans operate as a village. Arabs operate as a village. Jews, Anglo-Saxons, Chinese, East Indians, Native Americans, everyone operates as a village. Black people operate as a nation of individuals. Nothing we do is done collectively. Part of understanding the ethos of mental health is understanding that just like a fetus needs the womb of the mother to grow and function, the individual needs the community to grow and to function. One of the biggest reasons why we have so much mental illness is we have no community.
Yeah.
Where are our programs? Where are our systems? Where are our institutions? Where is our infrastructure? We don't have that.
Yeah.
The Black psychologists, the Black social workers, the Black psychiatrists, the Black counselors, we should have a treatment modality already being implemented. I understand the Black psychologists have a treatment modality on paper, but it's not being implemented.
Yeah.
And the reason these treatment modalities are not being implemented by our leading Black professional mental health associations is because everybody wants some money. Nobody wants to volunteer. The spirit of volunteerism that once controlled the Black community has been all but extinguished. We do not have the spirit of volunteerism no more. Nobody wants to do unless they are being paid for it. That's why our young boys don't have men in their lives. There's no reason why we got all these single Black mothers raising these Black boys on their own with all these Black men running around. If the father's not there, one of us is supposed to be stepping up to be accountable for that young man without expecting anything from his mother. The reason we got Black on Black crime, the reason we got gangster rap, the reason we got teenage pregnancy is Black men have no interest in fathering or being a father figure to children they did not biologically produce. Pathological selfishness is one of the greatest collective sins of Black America.
Gotcha. Now you said something about the people wanting to get paid. Now the people that are the people that are getting paid don't want their money cut off. They don't want their bank accounts frozen. They see the shambles that we in, and they know they could collectively help. If we get together, get on the same page, we could change ourselves. We don't really need nobody outside, but they're so afraid of being blackballed or being or their money being stopped that they don't want to help us.
Thomas Sankara, the great Pan-Africanist from Burkina Faso, who was assassinated in 1984, I want to say, 87 maybe. I think it was 87. He said, the man that feeds you is the man that owns you.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong with our athletes and entertainers. They have a lot of money. They have no freedom and power. Zero. They are scared as shit. I know. I've been around many of them. They're scared as hell. Millions and millions upon millions of dollars. They are scared to bat a fly. We are not going to get free waiting on them. They are too tied into the white power structure. They are too afraid. You're not getting liberation from them. So we have to get it from ourselves. But the problem with Black folks, going back to white supremacy and the capitalist model again, they have convinced us that having money and being able to buy things is more important than freedom. And it's hard to value something you never experienced. That's another issue with black folks. See, this is why the first few generations of enslaved Africans fought harder than all the subsequent generations until the Civil War. Why? Because they knew what freedom was.
Yeah.
When you have something and someone takes it from you, you know exactly what you're missing. You understand me? If I'm drinking one of my ginger ales and you come take my ginger ale, we might got the slap box for that ginger ale because I know what that Schweppes ginger ale tastes like. But if you take the ginger ale from me and I never tasted that ginger ale, well, I don't really know what I'm missing. I can probably live without it. And black people are so far away from freedom that we no longer value it. And one of the reasons why we don't get respect from other people is everybody can see that we are okay being oppressed. We are okay being murdered. We are okay being miseducated. We are okay being gentrified and mass incarcerated as long as we can experience the conveniences and material privileges of American society. That's how low our integrity as a people has gone. We've gotten to the point where you can do whatever you want to do to black folks. As long as I got a cell phone, a Benz, a white girlfriend, a house in the suburb, I can get my hair done, some fresh Timbs and Jordans, I'm good. And a people like that, people who will content themselves with material garbage in exchange for freedom, they don't deserve to be free, and nobody else is going to fight for their right to be free. We are where we are because we choose to stay there.
Gotcha. Now, Tracy Holcomb asked, how can we restore the mindset so we can become one? What are some steps that we can start taking to change the mindset?
The only thing that's going to change anything is yourself or an institution that you need. Institutions control behavior, period. You go into the military, they tell you when to eat, what to think, how to dress, when to dress. You go to school, they tell you what to do, how you're going to behave. You go to work, you're told what time to show up, what time to go to, what time you're going to leave, what time is lunch. They tell you what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. You belong to a community-based organization, a religion. Institutions control behavior. The reason we can't control the behavior of our own people in the black community, we have no institutions that they need through which we can exert an influence on the way that they act. What do we have that black people need? What does the black community provide for its own people? Absolutely nothing. How can you get people to cooperate with a community that does absolutely nothing for it? The problem we got is we're still expecting black people to be loyal to the black agenda just because they're black. Jews can do that because Jews provide resources for Jews.
Yeah.
Anglo-Saxons can do that. Anglo-Saxons provide resources for Anglo-Saxons. Native Americans and Latinos can do that because they provide resources for their community. The only thing we provide for our community is religion. There's no other resource black people have for black people. If you don't change that, you'll never get your children back. We could get all these drug dealers tomorrow. We could get the killers and the gangbangers off the street tomorrow. Hang up a sign that says $50,000 a year jobs with benefits, as well as a house purchase stipend, a house purchase scholarship. They'll lay them drugs down as fast as you can. You won't get everybody, but you'll get most of them. The reason our children don't pay no attention to us, we have nothing for them. Pay attention to you for what? You got a job for me? You got a home for my kids? You have nothing but a speech. And because of that, they don't listen to us. Economics and education. You go nowhere without economics and education. You need economics to train the youth. Excuse me, you need education to train the youth, and you need economics to provide an opportunity for the adults. When you can feed a person, they will be loyal to you. And if you can't feed them, you'll never have their loyalty.
Now, Dr. Umar, we must bring our show to a close, but we appreciate you coming on our panel with us, man. We really appreciate it. Anytime in the past, I've reached out to you, man. You always been available. I found my Baba out here in Houston because of you, man. I started looking into Ifa, and I found my Baba Obafemi Ifayimi here in Houston, MLK. But
let me give the people the donation information if I can.
Yes, sir. Tell people how can they get to you, what you got going on, and what you got coming up.
Yes, sir. FDMG Academy, brothers and sisters, we are at the finish line, just about the finish line, 99% completed. the Marcus Garvey Elementary School of the FDMG campus, your school, my school, our school. Please continue to donate so we can get across the finish line. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. Get on your Cash App, $FDMG School. For my international Africans and PayPal users, FDMG Academy on PayPal, FDMG School on Cash App. You can also mail, check or money order payable to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. All that information is also on my website, drumarjohnson.com. If you want to work or volunteer at the school, please send your resume to fdmgresumes@gmail. I repeat, fdmgresumes@gmail.com. You must include a photo and you must include a cover letter. Who are you and why do you want to work at the school? If you need to reach me directly for life coaching, consultations, you need help with your autistic kid, your ED kid, your ADHD kid, your emotionally disturbed kid, your intellectually disabled kid, your deaf kid, your blind kid, your speech kid, you got issues with mental health or education, you can text me directly to schedule consultation at 215-989-9858. That is 215-989-9858. Next Thursday, Kwanzaa Thursday, the 29th, I will be giving a free lecture in Washington, D.C., Chocolate City, at the Thurgood Marshall Center, where the most honorable Marcus Garvey once spoke and where Thurgood Marshall once used for his office. Please join us at the Thurgood Marshall Center Thursday the 29th of December. And then the next day, I'm at the Bronx Kwanzaa lecture on Friday, December the 30th at St. Helena's Church in the Bronx. St. Helena's lecture is $10 donation for the sisters putting that together, but the DC lecture is absolutely free. To my brothers and sisters on the mother continent of Ghana, I should be there on January the 3rd, bringing in the new year, speaking at the University of Ghana, East Lagoon campus. I also have St. Louis coming up. I have Pittsburgh coming up, Pleasantville, New Jersey coming up, St. Louis coming up, Baltimore coming up, and a few other places coming up. But anybody need that information, Dr. Umar Johnson at yahoo.com or 215-989-9858. And you can subscribe to my video on demand platform, drumar.tv, www.drumar.tv.
We appreciate you, Doc. For everybody, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. Men Can't Always Be Wrong podcast. I'm your guy, T Swin. I got some transportation music coming out, man. You can find my music at tswin.herenow.com. Good, clean, positive music for the drivers out there in the transportation field. B. Hudson is here.
What's up, DC1? Shout out, thank you, Dr. Umar, for coming on, man. I really
Appreciate
enjoyed the podcast. You said a lot of positive things, and I hope the community really take hold to what he's saying. There's a lot of truth to what he's saying. It's real. It hits you in the chest, but it's real and it's the truth, man. So it's time for us to pay attention to this. And black man, let's do what we got to do, man. It's time to stand up, man. It's time. Our children do need us. He's not lying. They need us. You know, when we take us away from home, that's a big negative. So they need us. But shout out to all the brothers. Y'all check me out. TikTok, everyone just put in the LDC music, same thing, got music coming out. You know, shout out to all the men and women out there.
Powerful.
Steve-O.
Yes, y'all can definitely reach out to me if you need any help, solutions, guidance, mentoring, counseling, security-wise, family-wise. Protect yourselves, protect your community, protect your neighborhoods, protect your life, because your life is important. And what we heard tonight, not only if your life is important, but the life that you leave after you is important. That is your children. The children is the future, the generation. And if we don't have our children and we don't respect and love our children, we have no tomorrow. So it's important that we protect our children, that we love our children, and we protect our communities. And the best way to protect yourself is with CPIIA in position and in operation now, that you can get help anywhere at any given time, 24 hours, 7 days a week, anywhere in this nation. And this CPIIA citizens and police immediate interactive assistance. You can type and text CPIIA at 409-444-3524, and you will get the help and the consultation that you need, and you'll get the protection you need for you and your family.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Jay Bean, just your average Joe. I really don't have nothing. for his time. I like to shout out CTR Media Network. That's who brought us all together. And once again, I'd like to thank the doctor.
Appreciate it, fellas. Great
Yes, sir.
comment.
All right, sir. Man, hope to have you back, man, in the neighborhood. Thank you so much, bro. And that's it for the Men Can't Always Be Wrong podcast. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right. Be blessed, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par, never lasting. Motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health and shift. We got it, reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment.
You are now listening to CTR Media Network.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car.
This is Olivia Tucker. I should say Dr. Olivia Tucker, and she is a legend of the podcast on CTR Media Network. That's me. I was so happy to be here. Thanks to her, my podcast.
We got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence. All levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The media network that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Y'all got a purpose in their life. While we on this earth, find your dedicated life. Don't listen to these haters and backstabbing neighbors. Fake friends and family with snakeskin layers. Take that vision that's up on your board and put it in your prayers. Get yourself about the bleachers in the game and be a player. Take them people want you to chill. Don't sleep behind the wheel. The devil trying to make a deal. Don't sleep behind the wheel. Them people want you to chill. Don't sleep behind the wheel. The devil trying to make a deal. Don't sleep behind the wheel. If you really want to win, my friend, then keep trucking.
Listen, if anybody's interested in getting into podcasting, grab this book. Go on Amazon, grab this book. It goes with me almost everywhere. This book has like a workbook. It has places you can fill it in. It tells you how to monetize your podcast. It tells you how to set it up. It tells you about sponsorships. It even, listen, go on Amazon and get this book. And this is the Bible for podcasters. Listen, it was ranked #1 in podcasting books. Look right here. Best new podcasting book by Book Authority. Right there. Boom. And a little secret. Y'all, when you grab this book, I think it's page 43. There is a code on there. Listen, you can get access to her class, her course. Get her course. It's worth hundreds of dollars. But this book is it's less than $50. Grab this book on Amazon. I'm telling you, I carry it everywhere. She is the best. Grab this book on Amazon.
My husband and I's first website for a real estate investment agency that we created when I lived in Oakland, California. That website didn't require any traffic, okay? All I needed to do was have a website for banking, for lenders and investors to check out. So obviously, or apparently, I should say, if you have a LLC and a EIN and a web page, you're a legit business. So we were a legit business. Fast forward a few years later, we moved from Oakland to Atlanta, and we went from a 941 square foot condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, to buying a 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 2,000 plus square foot house out here with a big yard. I say all that to say that I had a Rottweiler growing up named Bear. I wanted a dog. Okay, we're outside of the little shoebox. We're in a big house with a yard. I want a dog. So my husband came home with what we thought was a Rottweiler, which was actually a weenie dog, but that's a totally different story. And so I have the little puppy and I want to dress it up, right? So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to start a pet boutique, right? Posh Pampered Pets is what I called it, okay? So I built the website out, put all my little drop shipping accessories, cute little collars and stuff in there, and I launched the website. And you know what happened? Nothing happened. Not day one, not week one, not month one. And I'm not even going to lead y'all to believe that I went a whole year doing this. I just kind of set that to the side. So I went back to review management, building chat bots. But in the process, I learned that I wasn't the only one with this problem. Still didn't have a solution for the problem, just, stored that in the back of my mind. And then I stumbled upon search engine optimization. Yeah, I felt like Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. I done found the Holy Grail, okay? And I'm trying to tell everybody. The only thing is, I'm an introvert. So I'm really not telling nobody nothing. Okay, just, my little customers that I already have. And then Sheila said, we're going to do a 30-day live challenge. And, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I need to do that. But my body was like, girl, you're tripping. It was like trying to get two magnets from different polarities to come together. But, it was a struggle. It's still a struggle because, y'all, I'm not finished yet. But I'm getting there, okay? So I went from trying to help other people become visible with me being invisible to me showing up and being visible so that I can teach everybody how to be visible in the digital realm. So I'm really excited. I am so grateful to Miss Sheila for the opportunity. And because we're having this Spotlight Summit, I do have an offer for you guys. I know you guys see this QR code right here. Okay, this is where you can find me. Go ahead and scan that. And at the very top, there is a special offer for you guys for review management. Okay, so there is an initial setup fee of $297 and $297 a month, but I am discounting that for you guys or $97 for the initial setup fee and $97 a month just for being here with us in the Spotlight Summit. So if you are interested, you can let me see. Oh, scan the QR code and check it out. All right, love you guys. That's all I got. Peace.
Thank you, Michelle, the introvert that wanted to hide, but she wanted people to be visible.
Right.
Like, make that make sense.
Right.
The posh pampered pets. PPP.
Yeah. I might have to revisit that now that I know the science. Okay. I need to revisit that.
It's all about the SEO, the keywords, and all of that. You were super dope. Yes. Thank you for having that special offer for those that are attending the summit. Thank you very much. And also, we can put that in the show notes of the show as well. So others that listen to this podcast later can connect with you all and everyone else. That's why we want to make sure we are visible. Thank you very much, Michelle Robinson, introvert. I tell you, I think 80% of the students in this challenge were introverts. I was like, Lord, is you trying to teach me something? How am I going to motivate them? But listen, y'all are killing the game. You have so much to offer. No more hiding. No more hiding. Shine that light, baby. Shine bright like a diamond. What? Come on now. Oh, let me flip my hair. Hold on. Got my new hair. Let me flip. Okay. All right. So we're so excited. We're trying to see CC in the comments. Let me know if you're ready, if you got that technical difficulty done. And while we're waiting, I wanted to mention for those that are in attendance, thank you very much for being our guest on tonight. But we do have 17 slots available for the season 2 of the 30 Days Live Challenge. Listen, I'm going to put the link in the comments in the chat section, and you can definitely join us. Grab these seats. They are limited. Listen, this is a challenge that you didn't even know that you needed, right? You did not know that you needed this challenge because it's not just about going live. It's about finding consistency, being disciplined. It's about visibility for your brand. It's also about engagement. It's so much in depthness. And it's also about showing your personality so people can connect with you. Because if people know, like, and trust you, baby, they will open that wallet for you. But if you're not showing up authentically yourself, they're not gonna what are they gonna do? They're gonna keep that wallet closed. So we want to make sure that if we're on the platform already, we want to make sure that your page is set up so brands can reach out to you. Affiliates can reach out so you can get those affiliate links. You can be brand ambassadors. But listen, you ain't gonna do it with these raggedy profiles, okay? Because sometimes when I do that profile audit on your Facebook, baby, it ain't ready. No. So you join this challenge. I'll make sure you're ready. Money back guaranteed. It's going to be more than you imagine. And then the secret sauce is having an accountability buddy. You will be assigned an accountability buddy to make sure they stick with you and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. And you believe me, you might just come up with and find a business bestie. Within this group so far is so many testimonies of how people are connecting with each other, networking and building businesses together and building friendships. And listen, I'm not going to tell y'all everything about it. Just click that link in the comments. Click the link in the comments so you all can get going there. Okay. So thank you all. So we're going to go to our next guest. We're going to go ahead and go to our next guest, which is Miss Tanika Deshawn Chavez. Welcome to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who went through the challenge and was part of the 30-day live challenge. As Sheila said, my name is Tanika Deshawn, and I am your Lady Carpenter. I'm the CEO and founder of Lady Carpenter LLC, and I help people confidently renovate their properties. why I joined the live challenge was because I went through a season where it was just like one challenge after another, after another, after another. And not only, did I feel like, I was failing in my business, I also felt inadequate as a mother, and I lost trust in myself. I had to rediscover how to trust myself. And another reason I joined the challenge is because, I had insecurities about people seeing me and criticizing me, and it was keeping me from really sharing my voice. And why that was as important is because a few years ago I was working on a project where we renovated an old car wash and we turned it into a fitness center. And during that renovation, I had an accident on the job. I had an incident, and I lost my voice. I literally lost my voice. I couldn't speak. I could only whisper, and it lasted for a really long time. During those weeks that I didn't have a voice, I couldn't sing to my children. I had recently, gone through a divorce and was questioning my self-worth. And I was so angry. I was angry because I had lost my voice. And why was I angry? I was angry at myself because when I had my voice, I was going through so much. I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't speak up when people accused me of things that I didn't do. I didn't speak up when my business partner stole a 6-figure deal from up under me. I didn't speak up when my business advisor gave me wrong information and took an opportunity that was meant for me. I didn't speak up and defend myself. And so on this project, when I lost my voice and I couldn't even do something simple like sing to my children at night, I got really angry at myself. And I said, if I ever get my voice back, then I'm going to use it to edify and to speak up for not just myself, but other people as well. So this challenge really helped me rediscover my voice, and I found a message that I could share with others. And I call that the Butler Street experience. Another experience that I had while working in this business, I'm a general contractor. I'm trained as a carpenter, and I help people, that's right. Thank you, Althea. I help people renovate their properties. Well, I had met a woman who had recently moved to the Pittsburgh area, and she had said she got taken advantage of by some other contractors, and she was just, running out of time and money. And so I jumped in to help her in the middle of a renovation that was already going on. And let me tell you, this woman treated me so poorly once we got her project to a certain extent. She had me questioning myself and my capabilities, but I had the courage to speak up for myself. And she threatened, she was well connected, started saying stuff. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. I know, I'm gonna tell you straight up, no matter what happens, I am proud of how I handled this project, and I'm proud of how I'm handling this situation. So in that moment, I had the courage to actually speak up for myself. And the thing that I think God was showing me in that situation, because, while I was renovating that project, my grandmother passed away. I had lost a major contract that I was counting on, and I had to make some key decisions about, whether my family was going to stay in this area or make a move down south closer to my family, which is actually what I needed. And I said, you know what, out of this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show up for myself the same way that I show up for others. It's really easy for me to show up for other people, but when it comes to showing up for myself, I don't know why. I just have such a challenging time. And that's another thing that this challenge allowed me to do. If someone else came to me and said they had this opportunity and it was something that they really wanted to do, but they were worried about what other people thought, I would tell them, look, you're not showing up for those other people. You're showing up for yourself. So I had to literally talk to myself and encourage myself to show up for myself during this challenge. Not only did I find my voice, I found a message that I could share with other people. And so that's why I joined this live challenge, and that's who I am. And that is the opportunity that God has given me to share what I have with myself, with you guys and others. Why is that important? Because, my mistakes, my challenges that I experienced early in business, it actually makes me more valuable, and it makes me a better asset to those who want to work with me. Not only am I a contractor, I have a degree in information science and technology, and I studied integrated technology. And what's happening now with the technology is something that they called back in the day the digital divide. Not only is the digital divide happening, it's happening a lot faster. We can't even make adjustments in real life as fast as the technology is changing. In conjunction with that, our economic system is shifting. Our economic system is shifting so fast that there is the middle class is shrinking, and they cannot pump out economic policies and changes fast enough to take care of the human needs that are going to happen as a result of this shift in wealth, this shift in the economy, and the shift in technology. So I'm equipped to not only share my journey, but share the knowledge that I've acquired over the last 15 years to help other people not only acquire real estate rental properties, but now through the power of technology, expand my network and become even more of a resource to those who choose to work with me. So that's who I am, that's what I do, and that's why I joined the challenge. You can find me, Your Lady Carpenter, and here's my little cartoon, on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn under Tanika Deshawn. And on those pages, you'll find your link to the Lady Carpenter. You can also visit my website at www.theladycarpenter.com and ask me any questions about real estate and construction. If you go to my social media pages and you DM me 5docs, 5DOC, I will send you the 5 documents your contractor hopes you never asked for, and I'll tell you why in that document. So with that being said, I want you to, as you watch my journey, as I share with you my adventures, I hope you are encouraged and know that your mistakes do not make you a failure. It makes you an asset because you're going to learn the lesson and get the experience. I want you to watch my journey and learn how to turn your pain into profit, how I took the experience of losing my voice into an opportunity to finding my voice. And if you've ever thought that you could never make videos, or you're just nervous like I was, I want you to consider joining the next 30-day live challenge with Miss Sheila Hill, and allow her and her team and her group of accountability partners to help you to overcome your fears and your challenges. And remember, you only live once, so make sure you nail it and build a life worth living. I am Tanika Deshawn, your Lady Carpenter. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Now, she got the bell. Outro, I love it. Okay. So for those that listen, if you're not a student, you have to understand we talked about intros and outros. It's very important to have an outro as you're leaving out, right? So people can understand and remember what you say at the end. That is so awesome. Thank you very much, Tanika Deshawn. 5docs. Listen, please DM her 5docs. You want to get that. It's very interesting. Listen in the comments, please put speak up. Type speak up in the comments. You had a voice, but you couldn't speak. And then now you like, wait a minute, I had a voice, but I didn't use it. Now I need to speak up, baby. And you found your voice, you found your message. Congratulations. My goodness, my good God Almighty, as my grandma used to say. I am loving the summit, guys. All right, let's get ready to bring to the stage. All right, we're gonna bring her one more time. Miss Cece, Miss Centuria Lockley. Let's see if we got that technical difficulty. Let's go.
So can everybody hear me?
Yes, let's go, sis. We got you.
Okay, awesome. I got to get my wits together, y'all, because I completely done lost it. So I do apologize about the technical difficulties, but my name is Centuria Lockley, and I simply go by Cece. Professionally, I am a financial analyst for the Duval County Public School District. Personally, I am the bridge to bridging the gap between self-awareness, self-care, and self-love. So to share a part of what's not only just a personal part of my heart, but the embody of my own personal journey as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, I created my brand called Melanated Luxury. And the reason I did so is because I had my daughter, and it was important for her to have representation. It was important for her to not only just know who she is as a whole, but just be okay with her. Just be okay with you. And for me, I found that there was a major disconnect between us and self-care, self-awareness, and self-love. There's a major disconnect with us because of, and we could check off the boxes, but the hustle and bustle of life every single day. It's very easily to get caught up in life, and then we forget about ourselves. And we all can relate to, we can't pour from an empty cup. So self-awareness being one of the biggest things, self-care, and self. Now, y'all, I lost my train of thought in the midst of it. What else? We neglect the most important parts. We take care of everyone around us, but we neglect what ultimately is our own well-being. And so I created, a free Facebook group called Beautifully Complicated. So we can share tips and tricks and just everyday life and how to get through it. So that is a free group that I do share. And we can, you guys are welcome to follow me, and we share tips from there. What else? Y'all, I lost my train of thought with
That's
all my
okay.
technical
Take your time.
difficulties.
We family, sis. Just take your time. Look at your notes. Take your time. It's okay.
Okay, so where else? Where did I go with that? So I shared that the reason I created Melanated Luxury is because of the birth of my daughter. I needed her to have that importance. And then just me as a whole, as a collective, we deal with a lot that we have to unpack and discover self. That, like my sisters were saying before me, Jennifer, Purdy B, we all have to, connect with ourselves. And it's difficult to do sometimes when we have significant others, children, life as a whole. So just understanding the importance of not just our internal beauty, not our external beauty, but just our internal beauty as well. So a part of the Melanated Luxury line also expands from not just skincare products, but also apparel as well. So there's a whole line of work that I put into it that represents us as a whole. So like I said, feel free to follow me on my Facebook. It's Melanated Luxury. Simple and plain, and then on IG as well. And then, like I said, my free Facebook group is called Beautifully Complicated.
Okay, awesome. Quick question for you. What type of products? You said skincare, but what type of products? Can we talk a little about your products that you make?
So skincare products from all ranges. I cover body wash, sugar scrub, young facial oils, just everything that you would consist of. Like for instance, one of my body washes is a gentle. One of my number one sellers is my gentle skin. It is very good for sensitive skin, eczema, any type of skin condition. Is one. So it's a wide range. Everything that you would think of that entails body care products, it covers it.
Okay,
So,
awesome. And so you have an online store?
I do have an online store. Thank you, Sheila, for keeping me all the way together. The online store is Melanated Luxury as well. So Melanin Luxury as well. So I will drop all of that in the box, the chat as well. So
okay, and then one more question. On one of your lives, you was doing you was making sea moss. How does that play in? Do you use it as part of the skin line, or do you consume it?
Exactly. So it's both. So one, I use my sea moss in my products as well, and then the sea moss itself, it has it holds 92 of the minerals that the body needs on a daily basis. Sea moss holds 102. The sea moss carries 92 of those minerals that we need on a consistent basis. So it helps with your energy, your fatigueness, kind of flushes the system out, kind of removes heavy metal, just the whole nine. So it is important. It is good for the body. But yes.
Awesome. Good job.
But I do use that same sea moss in my products as well. Okay. Yes.
Most definitely. Sea moss is really good. Awesome. Any last words you want to say? You did wonderful. I know you had technical difficulties, got mixed up, but
and
it's okay.
It threw it off, right? So
it's okay. You're good. You still gave the information. Anything last words you want to say?
No, not the last words is, connect with your truth. And then it'll give birth to your own magic, regardless of what it looks like. I know sometimes we're ashamed of what we've done and what life has given us, and it's difficult sometimes. So I want us all to just kind of take that moment and reflect on that, to know that, number one, it's important to take care of ourselves, our people around us. It does no good to be an entrepreneur and a wife and all those things if we're not here to fulfill it. So we have to take care of ourselves as the number one order of business. So connect with your truth, regardless of what that looks like, and allow it to bring birth to your own magic.
Let's go, CC. Yes. Bridging the gap between self-awareness and self-love. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right.
Self-care.
So,
yes.
So in the chat, please put self-care in the chat. You were speaking nothing but the truth, baby. Self-care in the chat. I love it. Yes. Cannot pour from an empty cup. My goodness. All right, awesome. We're going to connect with you to get some of these products because, baby, we be ashy out here too. It's winter time.
It's the winter time. I got body butters. I have for a line for my men as well. So it's kind of unlimited where I've gone with it.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And Sheila, I want to take a moment to thank you again for allowing me to have access to you, because we connected, in a different platform, but it's expanded for me. So I do want to take that moment and appreciate you and just tell you and give you your flowers while I have you, because it's important. I wouldn't have gotten out of my comfort zone without you and the rest of our circle. So thank you, ladies, and I really do appreciate you all.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for that. My heart is warm. I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. All right. We're going to keep going for the stage. Up next, we have Miss Jerica Brumfield. Come to the stage. She's coming now. Let's go.
Hello. I just want to first honor you. Thank you so much for all that you have done for us in the group. Thank you for just taking out your time and pouring into us. I very much appreciate it. And if it wasn't for you, I would not have met so many amazing people. So, and I know most of us can attest to that. So thank you. And so, hey everyone, I'm Jerica Brumfield, first and foremost child of God. and I'm an author of Fire Before Work. I am a speaker and a real estate agent here in Georgia, and an accountability coach where I help two different types of people. I help them get more done in 30 days. The first type of people is I help those who have been procrastinating for months, even years, and due to fear, due to self-defeating thought patterns, but also I help singles practically and intentionally prepare financially and spiritually before marriage. And so that's who I help. And I do want to ask and start off with a question. Can you remember or think about a time where an unexpected circumstance happened that forced you to reevaluate your path or even discover your untapped potential? And so, thinking about that question, I realized that was me. Up in September 6, 2018, I was fired without notice. They didn't give me a 2 weeks notice, y'all, as I had to give them. And so that was already in a sense sad, but what was really sad was that I had no vision. I had no extra income coming in. I had no emergency savings at the time. And so just knowing me being fired and not anything to fall back on was horrible. And so I was at home, and I remember hearing the story in the Bible where God asked Moses, "What's in your hand?" And so I looked at my hands, and I'm like, I got a few lines in my hands and a few ash marks. But that's not what he was talking about, right? He was asking me, what did I have on the inside of me? What was my gifts? What was my talents? Although he knew he wanted me to discover that. And so I was able to discover what was on the inside of me at that moment. And he put on the inside of me to write a book. And I'm like, Lord, I don't even like English like that. Even though that's my only language, I can't even speak it clearly. So I'm like, Lord, I can't even do this. But he pushed me. And I want to encourage somebody, even stop right here, that even if you feel inadequate, feel like you can't do it, I promise you, give God what you have and he's going to multiply the rest. I just wanted to stop because I felt like he wanted me to encourage somebody with that. But so I'm at home and he tells me to write a book. I write my book within 3 days and then I self-publish it within 14 days. And so up in this book, I tell people and help people how to make extra streams of income, use their job as personal elevation. Don't go to your job and just act like you're going to be there forever, because if your name is not on that job, if your name is not on the paperwork that you started that job, you can lose it at any moment without notice. And so I teach people how to make extra income and use and discover their gifts and talents and what's on the inside of them. And so I just want to help somebody today. So we know holidays is coming up. We know that Christmas is coming up, Black Friday, but I want to give you 3 things that you can take away to make extra income by the holiday. If you got your pen and paper, go ahead, pull out your phone. These are just quick tips right here. One is drop shipping. So a lot of us do know about that, but you don't have to have any money to even start, really. You can get Canva, pull up you a design, make you a quick design, put it on the t-shirt and sell it. But not for the purpose of just money, but for the purpose of helping someone. So get your message behind that, and then you can sell it. Canva, and then you can use a site called bigcartel.com, integrate it, and you're good to go. Number 2, if you have a vehicle, you could do delivery apps. So I made a lot of money on delivery apps, which is Shipt, SHIPT, and Instacart, Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Waiter. We have so much stuff that you can use. But right now is the time to sign up because it's going to be getting busier over the holidays. So they're going to need your help. Number 3, I want to leave you with is PLR, which is white labeling products, private label rights. And so what this is the work is already done for you. What you do is you get something that you are interested in. Maybe it's books, maybe it's skincare. This stuff is already done for you. You buy it and just sell it at a higher price. So this is stuff that you can do right now in order to make extra income. And so I just want to go ahead and leave with you that if you do not know what you're going to be doing for the next 30 days, if you don't know what you have to offer, figure out what's in your hand. Figure out your gifts, figure out your talents, because God gave you multiple. You know, no one is on this earth without anything. And so you're more powerful than what you can even imagine. And so if you would like, and I'm just going to stop right there, but if you would like to follow me, what I'm doing is giving out a PLR product. The products are already done for you. All you have to do is put your price on it and resell them to somebody else. And it's over 50, I believe it's over 100 things in there that you could just get and just go ahead and sell it to somebody else. So I'm gonna put all my information right here in the comments. If y'all want to connect, if you want me to speak on your platform, if you would like to partner in any way, please just contact me. My links is right here in the comments. Once again, can y'all give virtual claps for Miss Sheila Hill? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerica. Woo! That was awesome. All right, somebody got to put money in the chat. Come on. She gave us so many ways. Put money in the chat. You don't have any excuse not to have no money. All right, let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. Okay, actually, financially and spiritually before marriage. So you're helping singles be prepared financially and spiritually. Oh, that's a huge undertaking. That's very unique. Oh, wow. Awesome. But they're going to be able to contact you and get all that because, you know, I heard it's the year of the bride. So, hey, you got to get them ready. Way to go, Erica. Thank you.
Because it was part of you, like you said earlier, part of your DNA. So it makes.
And why I'm so excited about it, everything that continues to happen and happened before, when I remember how it was, you realize this really is your life. This is not something you went to school and trained for. I mean, I trained for the music part of it, but for the humanity, it's who God trained me for.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
If I get to play the role of Annie Johnson, you won't be able to hit me in the head with a red apple.
Let me tell you, that is powerful in itself. And thank you so much for sharing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tina Ramsey Show. I am so excited to have today's featured guest because when I think about making moves and breaking records, captivating audiences all over the world, of all backgrounds, today's featured guest, Nevermore, is the definition of marvelous. She's the first African-American woman or actress to take over a leading role in the hit Broadway play Hair. She is also the first African-American actress to win the Tony in the category of Best Supporting Actress for her role in Pearly. In addition, she's also the first African-American couple with the amazing Clifton Davis to have a network TV variety show called The Nevermore and Clifton Davis Hourly on CBS.
And who can forget her impressive 5-octave vocal range, creating multiple #1 hits such as A Little Bit More, You Stepped Into My Life, and Read My Lips, having 55 single releases in her impressive music portfolio, and adding to that legacy the beautiful new hit album, Imagine, which is truly a family affair and a true labor of love. Today, Melba Moore, she's not slowing down. She is actually on a project with the iconic movie Adaptation of Imitation of Life, with the portrayal of Annie Johnson at the Cicely Tyson Theater. And this summer, she will receive a much-deserved honor and the acclaim that she deserved with receiving her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And to think, Melba Moore started off as a school teacher after graduating college. So right now, without further ado, let me just bring her on, the marvelous Melba Moore. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. What an intro. Thank you for having me. Wow, I did all that.
Yes, you did. And that's just some of it.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm just so excited to have you here today, because when I think about ones who breaking barriers, ones who made history, you definitely fit that definition of marvelous. You fit it to a T. And so, although, growing up in a musically inclined family, you started off as a school teacher. So what made you transition from school teacher to go into singing and the entertainment industry?
I think quickly, it was in my DNA. My natural father was Teddy Hill. He was a very famous band leader back in the big band days. But he didn't marry my mother. My mother was a single parent until she married my stepfather, who she had a performance group with. And he was a piano player and a singer. And he had a son and a daughter. So then I had a full family, I had siblings, but he made us all learn how to play the piano. And music became, from not being in my life at all to being the centerpiece of our whole family life. Everybody played the piano. All my stepfather's sisters and brothers played the piano or some instrument. So all of a sudden, it was the centerpiece of our lives. And then they determined that, I'll put it like my stepfather said. He said, I want you to get a real job, not like you and like me and your mother, because we never know what our work is going to be from day to day. We want you to have some security. So that's why my sister and my brother and I, we were all school teachers. One of my brothers was an attorney, but we were all in some kind of intellectual arena rather than performance. That's why we went there. But then at a certain point, I said, well, Daddy, that's your dream. It's not mine. So would you mind, helping me to get into the industry? And if it doesn't work, I'll come back and teach. Well, he took me around to some of his agents and booking agents and publishers and different people that he knew. But one of the first people I met, just sitting in the office there, was Valerie Simpson. She had some other business there. And so we just started talking and we exchanged information. And she said, well, can you read music? I said, I teach music. What do you mean read music? No. No, I said, yes, I do. but meeting her was my entree into the industry as a studio backup singer. One of the recording sessions that we were booked to do turned out to be for a gentleman, a composer by the name of Galt McDermott. And he was also a keyboard artist. And he was performing his own album of the music from the Broadway musical Hair. He had written all the music for Hair, and he was being assisted by Jim Rader and Jerry Ragney, who were the two stars of the show, but they had also written the book and the lyrics. So they were together doing all the music from this Broadway musical. I had never even been to a play at that point. And nothing in my history or in my life that indicated that I would have anything to do with her. But the album that he was working on took about 2 weeks to do, because he did all of the music from it. And but at the end of the session, they informed us that they were still casting, and they basically liked the way we sang, and they were looking for strong singers. And what they promised was that if we wanted to, we could go down and sing for the producer and the director. And if we wanted to be in the play, they would make a place for us. So it was not really an audition. Or they were auditioning by singing the backup music, and they were looking for strong singers. But that's how I got my first Broadway show, which happened to turn out to be Hair. Wow. Before I left the show, I wound up doing the female lead and replacing Diane Keaton, being the first Black actress to replace a white actress. But it sounds like an accident, but you know there is a God.
Yes.
No accident.
That wasn't an accident. And the thing right now is celebrating its 55th year anniversary on the hit Broadway play Hair. And just to think about how everything fell in place for you, it was already planned out. You just had to go through the motions. You just had to do what you needed to do. And it's just amazing.
Well, it sounds like it was easy, but it was not easy to leave teaching school. No experience in entertainment or in the theater, going against the advice of my parents. There was no one in my environment that said, oh yeah, you'll be good at this. Everybody said, you know, your mother's a great singer. You'll never sound like her. No one encouraged me. So I was really scared to death.
Wow, the fact that you kept, that just shows the tenacity and the zeal, because you went on your purpose. You knew that even though it wasn't what everybody saw, that you said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And you went through it. And I would like to encourage everyone that's watching to walk your path. Many times, parents out of love.
But let me stop you, Tina. I did not know what I was doing. And when people are coming out and they're young and there's nobody around to either teach them or encourage them, they're going to be scared. And so I don't want them to think I knew what I was doing. I was so scared, but I went anyway. So I would say, you know, try to get some friends, try to get somebody to be with you. Don't try to do it by yourself, but please try, even though you're scared.
I love that point, because sometimes you have to do something when you're scared, because look at what happened. Now you're celebrating, like I said, the 55th anniversary. That led to other opportunities, such as you're the first African-American woman to win a Tony in the Best Female Supporting Actress category in the hit Broadway Pearly. So even though you say you were scared, you kept on moving, and then it led to other things.
We are alone. I'm not. Why should I be scared? That every time, bear witness, I am a female, and for the first time in my life, you know that I'm 30 years old.
The winner is Melissa Moore and Pearly. Oh, Moore!
I don't know what to say. Just thank you.
And I'm just like, wow, like what you was able to do despite of being, you know, afraid. So how did it feel when you was doing all these things? You was afraid, but you still did it, and then you saw how it just opened up so many other opportunities for you.
Well, it was a combination of excitement, because imagine, I'll start with Hair. Being in a Broadway show.
That's a mouthful right there.
You see, it's a real theater. People are coming, they're sitting in the audience. You're looking at this, you're taking this in. And of course, the Broadway show Hair broke all the rules. It wasn't really like a straight play with dialogue. It was a bunch of vignettes that were put together. So it was hard to even figure out really what was going on. It was the first Broadway show that used rock music in the theater. So I was always disoriented. I was always feeling like I was kind of like on another planet or something.
Well,
kind of in a bubble. But what I noticed, like in the Broadway show Hair, it was a loving bunch of people with open hearts and minds. I never experienced that either, not amongst the races.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were with your culture or with your group, yes.
Yeah.
But I remember as a school teacher, I was not allowed to wear my hair natural.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't want you to think that this was just, you know, a walk in the park.
Oh no, I don't think that, because with every
not you don't, but I mean the people listening to it, it's such a marvelous story. You think, oh well, she just kind of floated through. No. Well, first of all, I think I could encourage people to say whatever kind of education you can get, it doesn't have to be a formal one. Learn as much as you can, because what happened, these things happened because I was well studied. I taught before I got a chance to get on the stage. I'm kind of a late bloomer now because everybody's kind of in my age category. They're still even now much further than I, because I started so late. But by the time I did start, I was really well prepared. So whatever way you can get some preparation for what it is you're dreaming of, I would encourage you to try to do that, because you get so many surprises. Nobody can tell what life's going to be. But if you learn as much about the basics, about business, about how to count your money yourself, about ABCs, formal education as much as you can. If you can't, then get some mother wit, learn, go to church, learn how to read the Bible, learn as much as you can, because when the opportunities come, you don't have any idea what they're going to be, but in a way, you're going to be kind of prepared.
I love that gem that you just dropped, being prepared, and different things that you can do in the now to prepare yourself for it, which is something tangible that all of us can do. You gave us formal education that we can pull through, but if we don't have that, we have the Bible, and be around whatever it is that you desire to be. Go around that type of people to kind of be a sponge to kind of learn what you need to do in order to be prepared, to be able to maneuver. Because like you said, it wasn't easy for you. It wasn't easy for you to do what you're doing, but it can be done. And so I just...
You said it beautifully. You said it so beautifully. Yes.
Wow, like that is powerful in itself. And I love pulling little points and gems like that for the viewing audience, because what we see now is the marvelous Melba Moore.
And thank God for that. I'm not, negating that, but I have an opportunity. You give me the camera and the microphone to make that happen for some other people too.
Exactly.
And I think that's why God gives it to you.
Exactly. And that's why you're a true trailblazer, because a true trailblazer, a person who making a positive impact, is not just thinking about themselves. They're thinking about the people that's coming behind them, and how you can make their journey less. They don't have to go through the pitfalls that possibly you had to go through, and the struggles and the challenges, because now you're saying, hey, I wish I would have known XYZ before I did this and that. And so now they can say, wait, I can watch her journey and listen to the words that she's saying, and I need to get prepared, number one.
Right. and also because you won't have my pitfalls, but you will have pitfalls. Know that. Accept that. And kind of brace yourself or get in shape.
That's
use
true.
Skateboard, go skate and do something, get in shape, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a fall the other day. It was incredible. The light was out, it was black, I couldn't see. But I'm in shape, so I didn't injure anything as badly as I could, because you will fall.
Yeah, that's part of success. Many people want the success, but they don't realize before you get to the success, it's a whole lot of failing forward that comes that no one sees in order to get to that moment. Okay, and so I appreciate you sharing that with them, so they can understand that it's levels to this. It's levels.
Yes.
Multiple levels to this. And so when I think about all the different things and all the different plateaus that you hit, you're celebrating the 50th anniversary of, you're just a woman of so many different firsts, and you're so humble because you was actually, you and Clifton Davis was actually the first couple to start your own show, your variety show.
First black couple. Remember racism. Don't forget that.
Yes, the first black. Let me make sure I go back. The first black couple to be able to have your variety show called the Melba Moore and Clifton Davis Hourly. I actually watch it, and it's amazing. Okay, and the so much talent that went through your show, and all that you was doing, all the different parts that you and Clifton did. It was just amazing, and it was on CBS during a time where you didn't see too many of us having those positions. So how did that feel?
Oh, are my eyes getting big again?
Yeah.
It's always exciting to remember that because it was just so awesome how it happened. First of all, Clifton and I were in love. We were a couple. So imagine that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Melba Moore and Clifton Davis.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first show of the summer season.
And I'd just like to say I can't really tell you how good it feels to be doing this show with my old lady.
Well, I can tell you it makes me feel pretty great to be doing this show with my old man.
Hey, how about a good luck kiss?
Sure.
Now, you call that a kiss?
Yeah.
That ain't no kiss. A kiss is something that goes wham, pow, you know, makes your hands tremble and your legs go weak.
My kiss didn't do this to you.
Not that one.
Well, what have you been doing, comparing my kisses to somebody else's?
Oh, no, honey, I just...
Well, if you have, I'm going to give you a wham pow that'll make your legs go weak.
Oh, come on now, honey. Now, let me give you a Clifton Davis special.
Oh, well, now, honey, not in front of millions of people.
I am not ashamed of the way I feel about you. I have nothing to hide, so lay it on me.
Oh, no, my mama told me about boys like you.
And everybody knows how gorgeous he still is.
You too. What you talking about? What are you talking about? You too.
Well, it was very, very, very difficult because we were both new in television and done that before. We were both new in theater. He was down the street. He started out in the chorus of Hello, Dolly, which was then starring, instead of Barbra Streisand, it was starring Pearl Bailey. I want you to get a glimpse of the times we were in. New things exploding like that. And if anybody is young and they don't know even firsthand or so the talent of Pearl Bailey, you got to go Google her and see some of her work. First of all, back in those days, everybody was a dancer too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hardly walk. You know, I go to the gym so I can walk. But he was down the street in the chorus, but he went from there to the starring role in Two Gentlemen of Verona, one of the starring roles, a Broadway musical. So we were both starring on Broadway at the time, eventually. I'm sure that was probably first. A Black actress and a Black actor, both starring on Broadway. There's just so many things that I can look back now that the dust has settled a little bit and realize and try to put into some detail just how awesome it was.
And I would agree, because looking back on the history, because I'm sure when you was doing it, you weren't thinking about I'm the first or he's the first or we are the first. But now looking back, retrospect.
But Tina, you know what we're thinking about? How do we do this? Because nobody's done it before. I mean, and it had to be comedy for a TV show. And I remember Clifton and I were both very sensitive to what was going to be the jokes.
Yes.
What was going to be the comedy? And one of the queens of comedy, Moms Mabley, was was our landlord. So you know that's gonna be funny right there.
Yeah. I mean, y'all had so many amazing actors and actresses to come along.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys with a triple hit. You could sing, dance, and act. Like it was just so entertaining. Like right now, I was watching it last night. I was like, this show need to be syndicated to go back on TV to be playing all the time because it was just so good.
And the fashions.
Yes, can we not forget the fashions? Like,
excuse me, I got to give credit to her name is Blondie Brown. My hair. Let me just say this: with Blondie Brown doing my hair was ridiculous.
I'm serious. And the beautiful natural, putting all the beauty in the natural hairstyles. I mean, just gorgeous in the outfits. It was just it was like you were doing theater every night because it was an experience. When I look at each episode, I'm like, oh, look at what the outfit you gonna wear next, what the hair, you know what dancing you gonna do. Like it's a movement. So it was just great. And so when I think about all those firsts that you was able to accomplish, it's just one after another. It's just so remarkable and incredible to see. But then when we talk about your vocals now, it's very few people on this earth that can, well, a good people can sing, but honey, you can sing. All right. like you can sing.
Tina, can I tell you what you just said? You said I could S-A-N-K, sang. That's worse than sang.
No. Up in the neighborhood, that is a stamp of honor because that 5 octave.
Oh no, I know it is. Thank you.
Listen, that 5 octave range that you have, I just had to pause. Like you have an amazing 5 octave range that everybody. I mean, you're blessed to have one, but you have 5. Okay, and the fact that you was able to win or be nominated for a Grammy. And let me just say some of your song titles because everybody, and just in case y'all watching this interview and you saying, I know I recognize her, I'm sure you do. Because let me say these songs. This Is It, You Stepped Into My Life. Ooh, a little bit more. And your Grammy nominated song, Read My Lips, in the category of Best Rock Performance. We got nominated in that, which was very unique because only 2 other Black women was actually nominated in the rock performance category, the Best Female Rock Performance, which was Tina Turner and the late Donna Summer. So when you think about that, like, listen, like it's only 3. It's Melba Moore, Tina Turner, Donna Summers. I mean, listen. Wow. How does that feel?
Well, I'll try to be nice and say I'm just honored to be in the same category. And everybody knows the work of Tina Turner. Everybody knows the work of Donna Summer. So, I'm not being show business. I mean, that's ridiculous to be in that category. And then, of course, it was the category of rock. It wasn't even R&B.
Yes, rock.
So, I mean, I'll just say I'm honored. But as you can see, I'm very explicitive. I'm explosive. I don't know. I'm just excited.
I'm saying, and the fact that it was, like you said, it was rock. I mean, traditionally we'll know R&B, different stuff like that, but to be in a category like that, and it's just amazing to be Grammy nominated. So I love it. I listen to, like, I'm a fan myself, just in case you didn't know. I know exactly who you are and what your portfolio brings to the table. I'm like,
thank you.
Woo! It's just amazing. So you didn't stop there, Melba. What you decided that you're going to take it to yet another level, and you created, or I should say, it's a family affair, a labor of love, going into create another hit album called Imagine. So what made you decide to say, okay, I'm going to work with my family and we're going to do this album Imagine? What was the thought behind this hit album Imagine?
Well, I have several independent projects out that are successful. And D Nice has been really very helpful in bringing attention to youth steps in my life, and some of the dance, Love's Coming At You, and some of the dance songs that are classic. But we were all shut down for 2.5 years during COVID. So nobody wasn't doing nothing, really. And during that time, my daughter brought me some songs and said that her Uncle Bo had thought that these would be good for me. Well, her Uncle Bo is my ex-husband's brother. So needless to say, our construction wasn't quite the same since we're divorced. But I listened to the songs, and she brought me over the period of 2 years, she brought me about 20 songs altogether. And so I listened to them all, and then eventually I said, okay, well, they're wonderful, but I don't even know if they're good for me. And now I'm listening for myself. I'm not listening with my A&R team. I'm not listening with somebody who's going to help me see the music from outside of me. Well, that's what I thought. Then I listened to the music. I said, well, wait a minute. Uncle Bo and his brother gave me all my hits. They know what's a hit for me. And so she says, well, Uncle Bo thinks you should start trying to go in the studio and see what comes out. So that's how it began. And I did one by one. And then she and her Uncle Bo and his brother, my ex-husband, listened to the listen to the music and put it into a sequence and gave it back to me to listen to. I said, that's wonderful. Who is it? Because really, it sounded beautiful. It sounded fresh. It sounded serene. It had a beautiful energy. But the music was different than I guess I was listening outside of myself. So it just sounded different, but it sounded wonderful. And then my daughter said, "Ma, that's you."
Yes.
And they had sequenced it and everything. Probably if I had sequenced it, I don't know, but they know how to do that. I never did that. They always did. So basically what I saw, I had my team back.
Wow. Well,
So
congratulations.
I said, okay, now what do we do? I said, because we don't have a label, we don't have, none of us are in the same positions that we were before. So after talking about it, we realized it was time to pass the baton on to her. You brought this to Mom. You see me in a different way. You see me in a way that they see me also. So this should be a family project because it could be a good professional project because everybody in it are experienced at having success, not just my success, except my daughter, Charlie, because she's new. So now it's her turn for us to counsel her and for us to tell you what only the next generation can tell you, how it is, what the organism is of now, and how you fit in and who you are now. Anyway, that's how it came about.
I absolutely love it. And I have to talk about this topic here because you are on another project on the remarkable, iconic movie. We all can remember Imitations of Life, but this is the adaptation of the Imitation of Life. And you're going to be portraying the maid Annie. Oh, listen, I watched this movie. It brings tears to my eyes, but also it brings you back to that time. And it polarized what we're going through still in the now, which is the sad part about it. But how does it feel to be able to be doing that iconic role and putting the marvelous Melba on it?
Well, in so many ways, I feel like God's hand is definitely on it because the role is of a maid. That's what I got a Tony Award for in Pearly, playing a maid. The other thing is, because my mother was away all the time performing, I was raised by an orphan. She wasn't even raised by sharecroppers. She was shuffled from one family to the other, or from one farm to the other. And somehow she made her way up north and worked for families. And that's how my mother hired her. But I was imitating her when I was doing the role of the maid in Pearly. That's my point. So, I was so good, they thought I should have a Tony Award. They thought I was acting.
You did deserve it.
So I guess my point is that I feel, first of all, very comfortable.
Yes.
In the character, in the person of Annie Johnson. I feel like I know her person. That's who I was raised by. someone whose only identity came forth when she was taking care of somebody else's identity. And she's standing between the mother and the daughter, and she's saying, well, your mother means this, she means that. Your mother's not here, I take her place. You take you fill up the void of the family. That's what the nanny does. That's what the maid does. I feel like I know her spirit. Not so much just Annie Johnson, but that person. That's who I am, kind of. I hope that's why I still have my humility, you know.
Yeah, that's powerful that you actually was able to pull from your real life and your experiences to be able to convey Pearly for the Broadway play Pearly. That's why it was so believable and felt so real, because it was your life. I never knew that. And
no, see, and you're giving me an opportunity to say that, and I'm so sure the people who commissioned me to do the role of Annie Johnson, they don't know that.
Wow, that's powerful.
So, but God knows it.
Yeah, that's
so.
why.
Once again, I don't think it's not an accident.
No, that's not an accident.
But it is. It's extraordinarily unusual for someone to call, because right now I'm mainly known for singing, to invite me to do that role. I think it's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary.
To get the opportunity.
It is. And the fact that you was able to pull, it was like your life was preparing you for these roles. Like,
yes, you're saying it.
It prepared you. Now I understand why you hit me right here when I watched it, because it was part of you, like you said earlier, part of your DNA. So it made.
And why I'm so excited about everything that continues to happen and happened before. And when I remember how it was, you realize this really is your life. This is not something you went to school and trained for. I trained for the music part of it, but for the humanity, it's who God trained me for.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
If I get to play the role of Annie Johnson, you won't be able to hit me in the head with a red apple.
Let me tell you, that is powerful in itself. And thank you so much for sharing. But with all that being said, Melba, and I love to say marvelous, because honey, you earned that in the definition of marvelous. Even though you humble, I can brag on you. So this summer, you're actually going to receive one of the biggest honors that an actress, a singer, they look forward to. And some don't even get to achieve or even have this, but you, God's plan, you're going to be able to this summer be able to have your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
It's like everything is going full circle. So I know you're excited.
Oh, absolutely. I don't really have proper words for it. I can just say this, having my nose to the grindstone and trying to figure out what's going on from step to step, and especially trying to figure out what is your life's purpose for. It never occurred to me to even dream of something like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I didn't even get to that part yet. So I'm going to make sure I write speeches and stuff, because I don't have words for how I feel about what I know the importance of this is, and the accomplishments people have made that are not going to get this opportunity. And that, of course, it didn't happen just for me. It costs a lot of money, so people have paid into it. There's a lot of rules and regulations that you have to go through. Many, many, many people have come together and helped me to have this. And I'm going to include as many as I can think, or many of the parts, if not all the people. I might not be able to name all the people that participated in me being able to do this, but as many of the parts as I can, so I can actually physically, respectfully acknowledge what it took to have this, because it is extraordinary.
It is. And congratulations on all of your past, present, and future successes, because I know that you're not slowing down. You're going to keep on going, and I'm going to keep on watching. And I thank you for being such an inspiration to not only little Black girls from all over, but women and girls in general, because when I see you, I knew that I could become, if that makes sense. Okay. And so this is the media industry, and its representation is important. So The marvelous Melba. I'm gonna say that, honey. Say your name, okay, Melba.
I'll receive it. I'll receive it. Thank you,
I
Tina.
want to thank you personally for what you're doing, what you're continuing to do, and you just don't know how many people you're inspiring, including myself and so many people that's going to be watching. So thank you. And congratulations on your star. Congratulations on all your number ones. And I love your the Imagine album. And tell your wonderful daughter, Charlie, amazing job on the album. And so, you know, and just keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. I can't believe the adaptation of the imitation of life. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And so to wrap this up, what do you want people to remember the most about you? Because you're an actress, you're a singer, you are a figure of history, but what do you want all of us to remember about you?
I care about people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think God rewards you for that. And I know we're talking about God, but I'm a born again Christian, so that's all I know. Okay.
I'm a Christian, so I don't care. Go ahead.
So out of all the things that you get a chance to show off in the front of the camera and to look pretty and to be healthy and to keep yourself in shape, I want them to know I care. I want to set a good example, and I want you to do the same thing with you. And I hope I inspire people to be the best that they are.
Well, you know, that is so true. One person went down to say, you can say a lot of things, you can do a lot of things for people, but the one thing that a person will always remember is how you made them feel. And let me say this. The marvelous Melba Moore makes us feel good. You make us feel good. So thank you for all your contributions to our history and for you continuously just pouring into us, not just as an entertainer, but as a person, as a human being that just want to see all of us win too. So thank you for giving us the roadmap. I appreciate it. So thank you for being on the Tina Vander's show. And
thank you. I hope you know I enjoyed this very much.
Thanks to her, my podcast.
We got it. Reaching 350 million. They tuning in.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Good evening and welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast. I am your host, Constance Willard. And tonight, I have the experts here with me. I have Patricia Anderson, better known as Lady P, in the house. I have two actor coordinator, Daniel J. Williams, here with us tonight. We have Deborah Ellison here with us tonight. And we also have Siobhan, the relationship strategist. And tonight we're going to talk about boundaries. Why do we need them? And how do we set them? And so I'm just going to start out by saying boundaries are important. But we have to understand that there are some good boundaries and there are some bad boundaries. And so how do we determine if a boundary is good or if the boundary is bad? And so, Lady P, talk to me about the boundaries.
Listen, this is a great topic tonight. For me, it is definitely a process that I'm currently going through. When I thought that I had healthy boundaries set for work and lifestyle balance, I learned that the last month, I didn't. So boundaries are important because it reduces stress. It reduces your health being affected. And I know that I spoke to you a couple weeks ago and I told you I passed out at work. Come on now. I'm dehydrated, I'm overworked, and I had to come to the realization because I'm opening up a new hospital and this is what I do, and they cutting my employees' hours, and so it's like I gotta pitch in and do it all. But guess what? If I'm not here today or tomorrow, they will find someone else to do it. So I had to start saying I'm going to take care of myself for self-care, and also to come home and be a happy person, to be filled with joy. But for me, like I said, personally, even though I've worked 7 days a week for the last 3 weeks, I am, trying to do self-care, and that is a boundary that I have to do because I thought I had it all figured out. So I'm here to listen, learn, and execute what I'm being taught today by these experts that are sitting on the stage.
All right, so she's here to listen, learn, and execute. I like that. Because you know what? When we learn something, we got to execute it. It's one thing to learn, but if we don't execute it, all that knowledge is wasted. So thank you so much, Lady P. Daniel, good evening. How are you?
Great evening, everyone. I'm excellent. All is well. Oh man, boundaries. I like Lady P's first response on that, because you know what, boundaries are it's not a broad thing. Boundaries are really intricate because you got to have them in all the areas of your life. You got to have them set up in all your areas of your life. But the main reason for boundaries, as far as I'm concerned, is really to safeguard a healthy environment for you to function and operate in. So you keeping everything that's healthy for you to function and operate in for you within your reach, and it doesn't allow access of the unhealthy things to be able to dwell within those same borders. So I think the boundaries are for you keeping things from having access to you, and at the same time it keeps you in access of only the healthy things that you know that are good for you.
I like that. Thank you so much. I like that. I really do. So Siobhan, talk to me about boundaries.
Ooh, boundaries, they are necessary. But for boundaries, you got to be deliberate about them. Because if you're not deliberate, they can kind of, they can change. Now, I'm not saying that you should never move your boundaries, because depending on the circumstance, you might need to, because oftentimes we set up boundaries after the fact when something happens, and it's like, okay, I want to get real rigid with this boundary, but you can go overboard with it. If you're setting it out of fear, out of like being controlling, things of that nature, then you can go overboard with the boundary. But within boundary, you have to have balance as well. And so that's why I said you got to be real deliberate about it and check on them often. It's okay to go back and say, okay, for this period of time, I needed this right here. I needed to set this up. Is everything okay? Are things flowing? Can I loosen up a little bit? Oftentimes when we go from one extreme to the other, when we're trying to find a balance, we go from one extreme to the other if we're not careful. And so you can get real rigid. Okay, I'm over here. This is real loose over here. So now I'm going to tighten up right over here. But then when you recognize and you get more information and you want to find that balance, it's okay to go back and just really adjust. So that way, try to get as close to the middle as possible, depending on what the situation is. And maybe we'll talk about some situations a little bit later. But yeah, boundaries are about balance as well. And I'll go ahead and pause.
All right. So, flexibility. Okay. And we think about, when we raise our children, we have one set of boundaries for when they're smaller. Don't do this. Don't touch that stove. It's hot. Don't stick your finger in the light bulb. But as they get older, the boundaries have to change. And sometimes they have to be extended, and I think about myself growing up, in my teen years, and my mother was like, well, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be running the streets. You're going to be at this house and you're not going to do X, Y, and Z. But then as I got a little bit older, I can be out past 12 o'clock. Okay. But then the stipulations come in. When the boundaries got extended, then came the stipulations. Well, you can stay out to 2, 3 a.m. But when I turn around at 10 till 11 at St. Paul AME Church, I better see you in my path. Okay? And I mean, she would at 10 minutes till, she'd turn around and look at that back door and look at that back. And I had better been somewhere in her line of view, or it was going to be some problems. And boundaries were going to be changed. Okay? And she did that for years. And I was talking to a friend of mine one day. He said, "Is that why she was always?" I said, "Yeah, that's exactly why. She was turning around to see if I was there." And so our boundaries are flexible. Okay. There has to be some elasticity there. You know, we just can't be so stringent all the time. Now, in some cases, you have to be. There's no give and take. Sometimes there has to be some set boundaries. In the workplace, for instance, there has to be boundaries. And they have to be stringent at times. And they have to be stringent. Why? To make sure that we are all on one accord as far as meeting the goals and the objectives of the organization in which we work. So there has to be boundaries. And so if you say that people have to report to work and clock in no later than 7 minutes after the hour, everybody, even us in leadership that don't clock in. But I can't expect people to come to work on time. I'm not showing up on time. Okay? So with boundaries, there has to be some flexibility. There has to be some exceptions sometimes, but there definitely has to be accountability. Has to. Deborah, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening. When I was in my early 20s, I was gifted the most wonderful gift in life by a doctor I was an associate for. And he told me, "Deborah, you're getting ready to make more money than you ever made in your life. You're young and you don't know. You got to have some boundaries." And he gifted me a book called Boundaries by John Townsend and Henry McCloud. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And that Christian book was a lifesaver for me because it taught me so many lessons that I did not learn growing up about the purpose of boundaries and where I stood with them, and that no is a full sentence. And I had it helped me so much. And still today, I refer back to that. I'm at my age now, that was in my 20s. I still can refer back to that knowledge and the things I've learned over the years to help me with this walk in life, because you can be taken advantage of.
Okay. Very good. And so when we make boundaries and we set boundaries, we really have to plan them. We just can't just lower the hammer at one time. So, okay, doggone it, boom, it's going to be this. We really need to put some thought into it, and we need to plan them before we execute. Because if we don't put thought into it and we execute, we may have total chaos. We just may. So there has to be some planning and some thought into our boundaries. Now, I know sometimes when you get mad, you're like, okay, well, that's it. That's it. This is how it's going to be. No and, buts, ifs about it. That's it. This is it. But is that the right way to do it all the time? Lady P.
Ooh, listen, there is some course correction. So when it is not the right way, depending on the situation, you got to course correct. So what I heard is from everybody, I heard protection, I heard being intentional, I heard being flexible. And so you have to evaluate that within yourself to say, have I been these things? Am I setting these things? So
everybody, and welcome back to the Keisha Parrish Show. On today's episode, I have this awesome and amazing woman of God Miss Jason A. Spurgeon. She is a certified notary, a licensed minister, professional event host, wedding officiate, a licensed life insurance agent. Oh my God, this woman of God is amazing, very talented, and I want to welcome her to the Keisha Parrish Show.
I'll make sure you're always safe with me. I love every single face I see. Smile more and it will set you free. This is the Keisha Parrish Show. 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 Keisha Parrish Show. It's the Keisha Parrish Show.
Hey.
I hope we're gonna be able to act.
I
like
know,
together.
right?
Hey.
Oh my God. So I just said a whole bunch of stuff about you, but I want you to introduce yourself to the people because only you know you.
I like.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
So talk to us. Who are you, Minister Jason? I loved your the name. Is someone prophesied to you? Pastor Clarissa Blissett said that your name is a household name. Wow. And it is so true. It's just so you elegant, eloquent,
That's what it is.
and
Thank
elegant. You know,
Thank you.
Jason Spurgeon. Talk to us about who you are, my queen.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
God bless you.
Yes.
I thank God for Kingdom Connections.
Amen.
If it had not been for my best girlfriend,
Yes.
Tara Hillstock, she knew when she contacted me.
Yes.
She said, I met this sister, and when I met her,
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted you guys to connect.
Yes.
And I want to give homage to her
Yes.
for counting it not robbery to put us together.
That's right.
You know, some sisters wouldn't have did that.
That's true.
Yeah, but
That's
she
so
that
true.
sister that did that, and I
Yes.
appreciate her.
That's right.
And I am the daughter of Thomas Eugene Spurgeon
Okay.
and the late Linda Jean Blassingame Spurgeon
Woo.
Jefferson.
Woo.
My mother's maiden name was Blassingame. She
Mhm.
married my dad Spurgeon,
Mhm.
and she later remarried a
Okay.
Jefferson.
Okay.
And it starts there for me.
Amen.
I have the most, they're prolific to me.
Mhm.
Both of my parents were highly educated, and they were very loving and caring. They took really great care of me.
Wow.
And the main thing that they gave me was permission to be.
Mm.
You know, they always just let me be.
Whoever
In
you
particular, my mother.
want. Mm-hmm.
My mother just let me be.
Yes.
And so that's how it is that I have been able to embark, you know, on different things in my life because I never had a cap put on me.
That's
Amen.
good. I love that.
She never put a cap on
I
me.
love that. I
yeah.
love that. Yes.
And so here I am.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Now you said earlier that you are motivation queen. Is that what you said?
I'm
Go on.
Jason A. Spurgeon, the empowerment
The
queen.
empowerment queen.
The, yeah, on purpose.
That's right.
See, some people think that I do what I do.
Mhm.
She's so extra. She do too much. Why
Mhm.
she listen? And I used to really, really allow that
Mhm.
to affect me
Mhm.
because people thought I don't do what I do to make people angry.
That's right.
I do what I do to be a source of encouragement.
Yes.
And I am bold. I am out loud. I did used to do too much sometimes.
So we gotta acknowledge.
I did,
Yeah.
you know, but even then, it wasn't done from a place of spite. It was done from a place of low self-esteem.
Mm.
See, but people just think, you know, they didn't know because I'm just so, hey, I didn't even know until I did some more work
Yes.
that sometimes some of my way of being was because I really didn't feel that good about myself. You know, the loudest one in the room
Yeah.
is usually the one that hurts the most
Most.
in the room.
Interesting.
And so that's who I was for a while.
Interesting.
But on purpose, I know because it's in the Bible. There's different giftings,
Yes.
and one of them is an encourager,
That's right.
and that's my gift,
Amen.
and I love it. I am I'm talking about. I'm your hype girl.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it gives me great pleasure to be um, of encouragement and
Yes.
to be able to empower others.
I can feel you because
Mhm.
that is also my gifting.
Yeah.
This show was created to motivate, encourage, and inspire
Mm-hmm.
everyone that ever felt like they were an
Mm-hmm.
underdog.
That's right.
And for me, it was, you see, I found out I had low self-esteem as well,
Mm-hmm.
because what I did was I put other people in front of me.
Right.
I was the pleaser,
Right.
right? My voice didn't matter,
Right.
and it was all about, you know what, I'm gonna let you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna please you,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna push you ahead in front of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
myself. And I
Mm-hmm.
found out that every time I did that,
Mm-hmm.
I was making myself a little bit lesser
Mm-hmm.
and lesser and lesser,
Mm-hmm.
to a point where I became mute, where I wasn't able to express myself
Mm.
and tell what I really felt,
That's right.
So God, just working on myself.
Mm-hmm.
God has been, and I am still in the learning process
That's right.
of coming out of that.
That's right.
Opening up myself,
That's
opening up my
right.
mouth, and also speaking to others.
Amen.
The ability to see
Mm-hmm.
your gifting inside
Mm-hmm.
of you,
Mm-hmm.
and God speaking into my heart and saying, okay, look, this is my daughter, this is my son, this is the gift that is inside of him. I want you to pull that out.
Mm-hmm.
So I am also thanking,
Mm-hmm.
I see I call her Tata.
That's Tara. That's Tara G.
Ta-
Hillstock.
Tara G. Hillstock.
That's my salt to my pepper. Uh-huh.
For
That's my girl.
connecting
I
us,
am.
because
Yeah.
that first time that you and I spoke on the
Mm-hmm.
phone, I
Mm-hmm.
was able to be myself.
Absolutely.
I didn't have to hide anything.
Absolutely.
It was a connection out of this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And
I have learned to let people be
mm-hmm,
because that's so important to me.
mm-hmm.
You got to give what you want.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to lead from the front.
Mm.
And so I like people to you gonna let me be now. Now go on now with your, you know what I'm saying, with
Yeah.
your caps and what you think I should be. And I'm be very clear.
Mm-hmm,
I am open to
mm-hmm,
people, you know what I'm saying, calling me higher and helping me grow.
mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about those people sometimes that will try to cap you because, like I said, she do too much. She and I had to come to terms or own the fact that me being me, um, it's who God has called me to be.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom
And
line.
I don't do I am who I am because that's
Mm-hmm,
who I was created to be.
mm-hmm.
There is a must need for me,
That's right.
like it is for you,
That's right.
like it is for all of you.
That's
Like whatever your gift is your gift to the body. We're many members, but it's
yes.
only one body.
One body.
And all of us can't function the same. And so I have, you know what I'm saying,
Yes.
a place in the body too. I'm 52 years old,
Woo.
and I've just really come into the fullness of who I am in the body of Christ. This is my position.
Yes.
I honor yours.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you be,
And I'll let you
because you
be.
gonna let me be. I'm telling you.
That's
I'll be like,
right.
go on now.
Because each of us was called to a different ministry.
That's right.
The people that is attached to my ministry,
Yeah.
it's not going to be attached to yours.
That's right.
Because we have different
That's right.
ideas.
That's right.
We come from different cultures.
That's right.
We were raised differently.
Different attributes.
Yes.
All of that.
All of that.
Yeah.
Right. So does that mean that I may not be able to give a word to your audience? No.
Right.
But it just means that each and every one of us is different.
That's right.
And special in the eyes of God.
That's right.
And who God has called us to be, and how God has called us to be, and how He has done His thing inside of each and every one of us. And it is okay.
That's right.
To be you.
That's right.
It
That's
is
right.
okay to be you.
And as believers, if you're really, I remember the day I did my initial sermon in 2003. I was ordained in 2018.
Okay.
And what's this, 23?
Yeah.
Maybe 2021. I was at a funeral and this sister asked me, she said, "How you doing?" I said, "Girl, God done made a believer out of me." And she didn't mean any harm.
Yeah.
But we have to, as we grow and mature and develop in Christ, we'll understand that we have been operating under the auspice of religion and not a relationship, like what we was talking about the other night.
Yes.
So religion said to her, and she said to me, she said, "But you've been saved." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, salvation is free gift. Yeah. It was the last house on the block for me in 95. Yeah, I did come and ask him, 'Please, sir God,
Yes.
save this wretch like me.'"
Yes.
I said, "But it has taken these years for me to become a believer." Salvation is one thing. That's a free gift.
That's right.
Listen, I'm talking about, you could be in the crack spot, you could be at the liquor house, you could be on the corner stroke, you could be in, and God will come. If you cry out to him, "God, please see about me," like I did, he'll come to you.
Yes.
And when he came, when I asked him, "God, please come and see about me. God, please, if you be God, come see about me." He came to see about me, but I still was mad at him at that time. Now, he did what I asked of him.
Yeah.
I was in a low place.
Right.
But what happened, because he answered my prayer, it put me in a place that I started being like, "Let me see about this guy." You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
I had a woman, my godmother, Beverly Louise Goodman. I got a lot of people. I didn't get here on my own.
That's right.
Beverly Louise Goodman said, every time I would call her, she would say, "God's in charge. God's so good." And I was mad at God. But her God was great. My God, I was mad at my God. Same God.
Same God.
But at that time, it was her God versus my God. My God had disappointed me.
Yeah.
Her God looked great. And she told me, "Baby, you could use my God." And I did, until I came to believe that it was only one God and he was one and the same. And so God will make a believer out of us.
What did you go through that you was mad at God?
Oh, you really want to know?
Oh, yeah.
Is y'all ready for this?
Come on, let's talk
Okay.
about this.
So my mother died when I was 15. We was living in Europe at the time. We flew to the States. I remember her getting on a helicopter. I know now that she had found out that she had a liver. They had found a liver that she was compatible with. She needed a liver transplant. My mother never talked to me about that. I never knew. Now I know now, not know now. I remember seeing her be sick. I saw her stomach was big and large. She had I knew she was sick, but she never told me that she never needed a liver transplant. And so, when we flew to the States, and then it was a whole year, my mother was up at Walter Reed Hospital, some different hospitals getting prepared for this liver. It's a lot more, what's the word?
Involved
Now, right now, it's just back then, the process was a little longer. It was different.
Okay.
So she was away from me for a year, me and my brother.
Okay.
And when my aunt came to my school, when she was walking up to the corridor to me, I knew she was coming to tell me that my mother had died. I mean, even then, my aunt, remember we used to say something told me? That wasn't something. That was the spirit of the living God.
Yeah.
And I knew that she was coming to tell me she died. And I died. My thought was at that time, and for many years as an adult, that if my mother could leave me, and she didn't leave me, she died. But I couldn't accept that she had died. I was waiting for her to come back. I had went to her funeral. I saw her be lowered in the ground. I saw her in that casket. I know, but I still waited for my mother for many years. And so that's where I became angry at God. How could you let this woman that loved me the way that she did, and I loved the way, how could you let her leave me? How could you let her die? And so it was there that I became angry with God.
Wow.
Mhm.
And how did you get over that?
Mm. I didn't get over it.
Okay.
See, that's something that we tell people to get over it.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's some people who may tell you that they got over it or that they let it go. That's not my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I did not get over it. What I did is I learned to live through it.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
When my mother first died, I couldn't even cry. For me to cry, if it listen, I would try to, my head would bust before I cry. You ever tried to hold back tears to the
Yes.
place that it hurt your head?
Yeah, I feel you. Yep.
I'm talking about I ain't gonna let them tears come. And so it was,
Yeah.
so I never did get over it.
Mhm.
What I've learned to do is to cope with it,
Yeah.
um, to accept it, to acknowledge it, um, to grow from it. You heard how I gave her homage at the beginning. Now I get to celebrate her.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
My style of dress. I believe because I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm gifted. I was always like a lot of these attributes, I got because she was my mother.
Yes.
And she left me with some beautiful stuff. And so what I had to do as the empowerment queen, what I encourage people to do is to do the work.
Amen.
So in doing the work, I had to get to the exact nature of what was going on. And I had issues before my mother died that hadn't been self-esteem issues. I was always the tall girl. I was always the voluptuous girl. I was always the rich girl. You know what I'm saying? I was the girl that for various reasons, I was too big. Let me tell it. My feet was too big. I was too tall. She spoiled. She get what she want. It was always something. It was always them. Ain't y'all tired of them? Who is them? We don't let them be the reason for us not being our best self too much.
Say that again.
Because they said,
Mm-hmm.
who cares about them?
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean.
I understand where you are
I'm
coming
talking about from that place.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm sick of them being the reason for us not being our best.
Not being who God called us to be.
Because of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a lot of time in my life worried about what they thought about me.
My God.
So I've done the work.
My God, I am doing the work.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing the work right now.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to say I was mad at God, but I was disappointed. And my story is real because I've been married almost all my life.
Okay.
From the age of 23 up until just before I turned 40. Right. And I am 42 right now. And for me, my marriage has been
to the same person.
Yes.
You hear me? To the same person. Okay. Because you could have been married 2 street times.
No, to the
To
same
the same
person.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's be
And
clear about
let's
that.
be clear on that.
Not clear. Clear. Okay.
Yeah. So that has been my rough time. When I went in at the age, like I got married at the age of 23 years old. The man that I married, he is a good guy. I always let that be known.
Right.
He's a good guy, right? A good person. But he did not know how to love me.
Okay.
And through all of that, I went through depression. I went through a state of low self-esteem where I did everything that I could to make him love me. Okay. I put him and the children in front of myself. I give him everything that I could just to make him love me. There are so many different things that I went through in the marriage where I said to myself, there's no way he loved me. And after our conversation recently, he was like, I did.
He did what?
He did love me. But then I say to myself, how? How could you if you never said it? How could you if you never showed it? How could you love me if you put me down when you put me down and call me fat and make me feel like I was less than? How could you love me if you are going to compare me to your brother's wife, how
Mm,
could you love me?
mm,
If you're gonna put me down in front of your siblings, how could you love me?
mhm,
And I battled with that so many times. um I had to, how could you love me and don't want to do therapy, counseling, marriage counseling? How
mhm.
could you love me? You know, when you disregard my voice, disregard my opinions, make it feel as if I am nothing. How could you love me? If you, when you call my opinions stupid or say it doesn't make sense, how
Mhm.
could you love me?
Mm.
How could you say you love me?
Can I weigh in?
Absolutely.
Did you ever watch the movie For Color Girls Only?
I did.
Do you remember that the lady, um, Kimberly Elise in the movie, I don't know her name,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Mm-hmm.
actress,
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly Elise.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, she had children by a man who was a military man
That's right. I
who
remember.
was an alcoholic
Yes.
and he was abusive.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
She knew this.
Yes.
Okay. And so she dropped the children out of he rather
Yeah.
dropped the children out of the window to
Yes.
their death.
Yes.
And after they died, she was in her house with the curtains drawn. It was dark. Um, she looked like she smelled. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we couldn't smell it through the movie, but
Yeah.
no, she looked like she
Yes.
looked depressed. She looked like she hadn't been bathing. She was just in the house in a fetal position
Yeah.
because of what had happened, right?
Yes. Yes.
Understand it.
Yes.
You know, her children were murdered.
Yes.
And Felicia Rashad came in the house. She had a key because she was the lady,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
landlady
Yeah.
too. I think she was the landlord of the building.
Yes.
So she had the key and she came in and she told her, "You got to get up." And she was, you know, she balked her for a few. And when Felicia was walking to the window to open up the curtains, Kimberly Elise was like, "No, no, no." And I'll never forget this. It was so profound to me, and I think about it often.
Mm-hmm.
Felicia Rashad said to her, she went through that. "I know you're hurting. I know I can't remember everything verbatim." She was like, I know. But she said to her, "You got to take some responsibility for this."
Ooh.
Now, I remember watching that movie, and it was two things that was going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my humanness, I was like, I can't believe she said that. Like, he dropped her baby. What? I mean, what? But my spirit, my baby, she leapt. My baby was like, yeah. And I'm saying that to us to say this. That's why I said we can't allow them, because I hear what you're saying about him. But you married him, remember?
I did.
Okay, now you married him.
That's right.
I don't know why you married him,
Mm-hmm.
but you married him.
I did.
Okay, and then when you married him, you found out some things about. I've been talking a lot up to women about this, about how important it is to date.
Yes.
About how important it is to have preferences.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I know the preferences that you have now that you didn't have at 23, and likewise for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, as I've done some work,
Mm-hmm.
that one of the things that helps me cope with the pain that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
that you've dealt with him, you know, perhaps treating you, is that I had to take some responsibility for some of that stuff.
Right.
And what I mean about that is, because he didn't just act that way with you.
Mm.
But it was, but I'm his wife. It's supposed to be different with me. But you wasn't the only person he acted that way with.
Wow.
Was he?
No.
He wasn't.
No.
That's just who he is.
Yes.
And it feels so personal to us.
Yes.
Because, you know, I be expecting people to do for me
Yes.
what they incapable of doing.
My God.
Period.
That's
Not
right.
who they are.
That's not who they are.
So like this brother that I have been loving all my life,
Mm-hmm.
I want him to see me for this. I mean, hey, baby, I'm her, you know.
Yes.
What's wrong with you? Why you don't? And every time he did, my little girl, see, we got little girl issues.
We got little girls.
Oh
my God.
You want to go?
Yes.
You want to go?
We do.
That's
have
when we
little
gotta
girls.
go, because
Yes.
it ain't got nothing to do with him. That's my little girl issues.
Mm-hmm.
Same way I said whatever you saw in him is what you have been dealing with. That it wasn't personal. That's who he is. Same thing with you.
Yeah.
The way that you responded to him was because of your little girl issues, and the way that he responded to you was because of his little boy issues. So I got a little boy and I got a little girl in the room, and guess what's gonna show up? Issues. Cause y'all was young when y'all got married. You like you said he didn't go to therapy. Y'all didn't go to therapy. So, but I gotta keep doing the work on me. And I want this gentleman.
Yeah.
I wanted him to. I want him to see me. And guess what? The Spirit of the Living God finally told me that I got. He said, but you got an issue with love. Because I didn't tell you that at 15, I told me that I ain't gonna love nobody or let nobody love me.
Wow.
I meant that. Ain't nobody else gonna be able to hurt me. Because I ain't gonna let nobody, because I thought that was gonna be my antidote to not getting hurt in love. And it didn't work. So I've been trying to embark on relationships with men and with homegirls, with my children, with family members, from a broken place. Because I ain't gonna let you love me, and I ain't gonna let you get too close to me. That's how it was for me.
Right.
And recently, like over the past 5, maybe a little better, I've been working on dismantling that. Which I spoke over myself. I'm going to be loved.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I'm going to love.
That's right.
So what I'm saying to you, Keisha, Keisha, is that sis, he can't be the reason. Like we got to work on our little girl. If I had been married before now, it would have been over.
Right.
I just been looking at him, what he wasn't doing, what he wasn't doing. And the Spirit of the Living God said, but you ain't even open to love. That's right. And you don't even want to be loved. And you don't want to you forgot about what you said, because it was always their fault. Why can't I get nobody to stay with me and that love me? God said, you don't remember what you said to you about you? Keisha, who he is who he is. It wasn't just to you. But our little girl, she loved the fantasy. And he's supposed to been that to you.
That's right.
Which he ain't even able to be.
Right.
He ain't even able to be it.
That's right.
So like Felicia told little girl, that's what I've had to learn to do. Is I've had to learn to take some responsibility. Even when he called you fat. And what? But see, we got to take responsibility for the fact that you believed it.
Yes, I did.
And it made and when he called you fat, it made a difference to you about you.
Yes, it
That's
did.
the issue. Not because he called me fat.
That's right. It did. It did.
Because I'm voluptuous. Baby. Better not call me fat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's now.
Yeah.
That's after doing some work.
Yeah.
That's after making the decision that if I think better, I'll start feeling better.
Yes.
That wasn't in closing, I'm gonna let you say it.
No, go on.
Bishop Jakes has a book, Her Lady, Her Love, and
Her Lord.
And he said when his wife's mother died, he said he tried to do everything that he could to make her feel better. Roses, jewelry.
Yes.
He said, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
He said it was during that time that his wife drew real close to her sisters and her girlfriends. See, we want to make him everything. I know I did.
Right.
I wanted to make whoever my man was, I want him to be everything to me. And God ain't having that either.
That's true.
And I wonder why I had before now. I was like, oh, when I get married, I'm gonna honor him. But I was still being dishonorable to other men. And my sons, I got 2 sons.
Right.
And they got some experiences with me when I dishonored them, when I played them out of pocket as a woman. But I want God to bless me with a husband that I'm gonna show honor to. That's a lie.
Right.
That's a lie.
Right.
That's a lie. Girl, that's a lie.
Right.
You know, and when my husband come home, I'm gonna start. That's a lie.
Right. You got to start that from.
That's a lie.
From the beginning.
He gonna find me, his wife, a good thing, favor with the Lord. I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying. And Bishop taught me that in that book. He said, that we as women, we got, relationships with ourselves,
right,
with our God,
yes,
and then with our lover.
That's right. No, you are absolutely right.
And so um we got to take the weight off of us by making it about them. So what, he called you fat, Keish?
But those things hurt, doesn't it not hurt?
Absolutely it does,
Yeah.
Keisha. It
And it
hurts.
brings down your, because right now
Mm-hmm.
I am working on me being able to be more assertive,
Okay.
right? I'm working on speaking, and let me say this: when it comes to preaching,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a whole different beast,
Okay.
right? But when it comes to speaking my mind, that's a whole different thing now that I am dealing with, because I was told my ideas were stupid. So when I come into a room with people or a meeting, and this is even on my jobs, I won't say anything, because I feel like if I open up my mouth, oh my gosh, I might be saying something
So whose fault are
stupid.
you saying that
No, I'm
is?
not saying it's his fault,
Okay.
but what I'm saying is that it's a learned behavior. It's something that I learned to do because of the circumstances that I was in. Now I'm working on undoing those things, because there's a lot of undoing that has to take place. I have to unlearn certain behaviors, because I became the version of myself through the marriage. I became something that was not who I was. So now I have to unlearn those things.
I disagree.
You disagree? Okay, talk to me.
Keisha,
Yes.
before you married him,
Yes.
the reason that you was able to marry somebody
Mm-hmm.
that could do that to you
Mm-hmm.
is because that's what you thought about you.
Hmm.
Keisha, if you was whole
Mm-hmm.
and healed
Mm-hmm.
in that manner,
Yes.
where that was unacceptable, you wouldn't have never married him.
Mm.
So you was connected because of your brokenness. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what he gave to you,
Right.
at that time that made you feel like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I can marry him. So it was even before him.
Mm.
Now we're gonna have to unpack that
We're gonna have to all yeah, all the way.
because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to expose that about
Yes,
yourself,
yes,
that
yes,
much about
yes,
yourself.
yes.
But if you would take a moment and think while we're talking
Yeah.
about what you experienced before you got with him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had already experienced abuse before you got with him.
Mm. I gotta think.
Your little girl. Cause see, this little girl stuff that we talking about.
Yes,
See,
yes.
it's our little girls that need to feel,
Mm-hmm.
take care of me, love me.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
little girl stuff.
yeah.
And we have a hard time because abuse we think is just or we automatically, when you hear abuse,
Mm-hmm.
we hear physical.
Right.
Somebody hitting us.
Yeah.
Somebody, no, abuse is
Mm-hmm.
somebody
Yeah.
has said to me
Yes.
something to me
Yes.
that has caused an offense.
Uh-huh.
It abused me. It wounded my inner self.
Yeah.
It wounded my idea
Mm-hmm.
of myself. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I have to go back to that. I had to get to the root of it. And
Right.
it don't necessarily have to come from in your home.
Yeah.
You heard me say, because I was the tall girl,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had the longer. So sometimes it would just be the kids in the neighborhood.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
That tore up, that started messing with my self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I was that girl that was like, hey, my mama let me, and then I went out into the mean world
Mm-hmm.
because my mother kept me as a shelter that she could.
Right.
But then when I got out in
Mm-hmm.
the world wasn't like my mother.
Right.
So then I started dealing with, and I didn't know, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't taught um, that baby, the world ain't gonna be like this,
Right. Right.
like I am to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the world, people are not gonna be too comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
okay, with you being. So I'm saying all of that to say that, Keisha, um, we attract who we are
We attract who we are.
a lot of
Interesting.
times. We do. And at that
Interesting.
place of brokenness,
Yes.
it was
Yes.
easy for you to, connect with another brother
Mm-hmm.
or another being
who was also broken.
That I did it with my home. If you think about, did you have any
Ye-
homegirls at that time?
Yeah, I had a
They was
lot
a
of best
mess.
friends.
They was a mess too.
I did. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm really like as I go back in my mind, I gotta really because
Yeah.
I was the only child,
Okay.
right?
I
So
was
this,
too for 13
yeah.
years.
Okay, so well,
Uh-huh.
sorry, I'm my mother's only
Okay.
child.
Okay. Okay.
I'm my father's third,
Okay.
but my mother raised me.
Okay.
Her twin sister raised me,
Mhm.
so I was the baby of the family
Okay.
who got whatever she wanted
Okay.
and who got a lot of love.
Something happened though.
And as you're talking, I'm like going back in my
Something
mind
happened
to
that
see.
shattered that.
Okay.
You got
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
Something happened.
Yes. Yes. Something happened.
Something, and when that something,
Something did
Keisha, ain't it
happen.
amazing how you
Oh
could have
my
a whole
God.
lifetime of just
Ah,
love and abundance
yes.
and one thing.
One
I'm
thing.
talking about that one.
Oh
Keisha, it
my
could be
God.
5,922 million people
Yes.
in the room that love me and that one
Yes.
person that don't.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is it about us? Us, I'm talking about people,
Yes.
humans.
Yes.
Like we can gravitate, we'll miss the beauty and of everything. And that one thing.
Mhm.
Ask me how I know.
How you know?
Because I know, Keish. Like
Yes.
that's my life work now. When we talk about, I don't think you mentioned to them that I have a Queendom affirmation t-shirt line for women.
Right.
And the Queendom movement is about maturing one little girl at a time
Okay.
to mature into her rightful position in
Mhm.
the kingdom of God. And I'm not talking about little in age or stature. I'm
Yeah.
talking about what we doing now. Your
Yeah.
little girl.
Yes.
See, you got to get in, you got to reclaim your little girl.
That's right. That's right.
Because it's that one. I can't wait for us to talk about that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you just got it.
Yes.
And I knew you was ready. That's why we talking about
I
it.
know.
But
Yeah.
it was that one thing that happened that shattered it.
Yes. Yes.
And our little girl who likes fantasies, like when that one thing happened, when my mother died,
Yes.
like I forgot all of the beauty that my life held
Mhm.
prior to my mother's death.
Right.
I went straight to the streets.
My God.
I went straight to smoking marijuana and
Mhm.
drinking and
Mhm.
hanging out with the hot boys that was getting
Mhm.
money. I had never seen that in my life.
Mhm.
But when that one traumatic issue happened in my life,
Mhm.
it pulled me down. The
Right.
Bible calls them strongholds.
Yes.
That stronghold took off. I'm
Hold
talking
on
about, do
you.
you hear me? And it
Yeah.
was strong, Keisha.
Mm.
And it said, ooh, got him. And that's what it was.
Wow.
So that's what the work has been about. The
Mhm.
work has been about me reclaiming,
Yes.
talking about getting me back to me.
Getting you back. Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. That's
Making
yes.
amends with myself.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
with them, not with they. I'm not mad at
Nobody.
nobody
Mhm.
no more. Yes, it hurts.
Yes.
But the pain gets different when I start being able to say, oh, it all makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because I got a part to play in it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree that I had a part to play.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I always start out by saying that he is a great guy.
That's right.
And I always start out by saying, he is an amazing person,
Mhm.
you know, because I want everyone to know that we were best friends.
Mhm.
Me and him, I met him when I was 18 years old,
Mhm.
and he was my best friend.
Mhm.
And when we got married, I was like, where did my best friend go?
Where did he go? You got to do the work.
Yes.
Because you gotta be free in this.
Yes.
That it wasn't because you was a bad person.
Yes.
Or because you wasn't beautiful.
Mhm.
Or because are you saying you were heavier than what you are now?
Oh yeah, way heavier than what I was
Okay.
now.
It wasn't because you had gained some weight,
Yeah,
Keisha.
yeah,
It wasn't because our love,
yeah.
like Keisha, God done promised me a love
Yes.
that's just gonna love.
Me.
Period.
Without any
I'm
conditions.
talking about your Keish. He gonna be like, I don't care, Keisha. I can be like I am today, or
Yes.
Keisha, I could be straight out of bed with a
Mhm.
booger in my eye,
Yeah.
little running right down my
Yeah.
mouth, and
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Girl, what's your face?
That's
So
right.
pretty." He just gonna love me,
Me.
Keisha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at him, and guess what?
Yeah.
You know how I know I'm gonna get that?
Yes.
Because Keisha, that's what I'm doing to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Keisha,
Mhm.
it don't matter if I got a little makeup on. I'd be like, hey,
Or no
girl.
makeup
It'd be
on.
like when I wake up in the morning, Keisha,
Mhm.
to wash my face, I'd be like, hey, girl.
Yes.
Like, period.
Yes.
So
Yes.
because of that,
Yeah.
now I have different, you know what I'm saying, standards.
Mhm.
You know what I require.
Yes.
Were we really taught that? Was we really taught that?
We weren't taught
Was
that.
we taught, Keisha, that
We
it's
weren't taught
okay to
that.
have a preference?
Yeah, we weren't taught that.
You
We were taught you have to get married unless you're gonna burn.
That's what. That's it. It wasn't he needs to be like my man, you need to
Mhm.
have a car.
Right.
You need to have your own place.
Right.
You need to, I mean, unless there's some, but overall, I'm talking about just some
Just
basic
some basic.
stuff.
You should be able to take
You
care of
should be able to
yourself.
take care of you. Yeah, yeah. You should be able to take me to dinner
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
You should be able to pray with me at the drop of a
That's
dime.
right. That's right.
You should be able to come home and see me on the floor in prayer, and you just I see my husband covering me, Keisha. I ain't talking about covering in the because he my husband way.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about like literally like getting on that ground with
I'm
me.
praying. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about covering with
Covering
me.
you. Yeah.
I'm talking about you talking about sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Keisha.
That's what I
I'm talking
want
about the
to.
thought of it right now. Make my
Yeah.
liver
Ooh.
quiver, girl. You know my
Yeah.
liver
Yeah.
quiver in a
Yeah.
minute. I'm there, girl. Ooh, Keisha. I'll be like, yeah. Keisha, that's some sexy to me, Keisha.
Yes. And that's exactly what I am desiring as well.
I gotta be her though.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's where I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I am.
That's
Working on my mind,
Yeah,
working on myself.
right.
Because I never used to get my nails done and my hair done
None of that.
and pretty up. No,
Ah,
I didn't. I
yeah.
didn't because well, in my mind,
In your mind.
in my mind,
That's good.
let me say that.
So you done already changed up.
Yes,
So we
yes.
get ready to shift.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in your mind.
In my mind,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to exemplify the
Uh-huh.
woman's in Proverbs 31.
Oh,
That
so she
said,
can't have her hair and
no,
nails
but
done.
hold on. This is how I interpret it.
Oh yeah. That's why you said in your mind.
That's why I say in my mind.
Yeah.
It's because her household was blessed. And she went out and she made sure that
I
her
hear you.
household
Uh-huh.
had on scarlet.
Uh-huh.
So in my head,
in my
I was
mind.
like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that he has this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that the children has this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that they are okay.
Ah.
And I didn't think about me.
And it happens so much to so many women and men.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hear people say, I gotta get myself together for my kids or for my husband.
Oh
or
yes.
for whoever. That's some foolishness.
Yeah.
If you don't get you together for you,
you,
they're gonna be in trouble anyway.
that's right.
Like Keisha, when we start with us,
Yes.
Pastor Keisha,
Yes.
when we make a decision that I'm going to be my best me for me,
Mhm.
what happens is that everybody in proximity to me
Yes.
gets to benefit from that.
That's right.
Whenever, Pastor Keisha,
Mhm.
I make the decision to not be my best me for me,
Mhm.
everybody in our proximity is affected by that
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Could we be so stretched today
Mhm.
that we could say that not we, you can look at them and see, let me tell you what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
The relationship, the turbulence that's going on with me and one of my sons,
Mhm.
can I acknowledge the fact that it was because of my thinking,
Yeah.
my projection?
Yeah.
A projection is just that, it's a projection.
Mhm.
Whatever I think, that's why the Bible has already told us that we
Yeah.
created me a new mind, which is what? Christ Jesus.
Yes.
And that's not a one-time occurrence.
It's a continuous thing.
That thing need to happen. I'm talking
All
about
the
true,
time.
throughout the day.
Yes. Yes.
Like when I see myself like, whoa,
Mhm.
get your mind right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It used to be because Biggie would be there every night. Girl, stop all that caring now. Nobody worry about Biggie being there every night. You need to get your mind right.
That's right.
So the
That's right.
spirit of the living God can be there every night.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
For
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
And so some of the things I've had to look back on now
Mhm.
and take responsibility
Mhm.
for my part.
Yes.
Just my part.
Just my part.
Just my part.
Just
Keisha.
my part.
Oh, it was always them. If you didn't, if you would,
Mhm.
if you could, well, maybe if. I knew everything that everybody else was supposed to do.
Mhm. Except for me. All right, so I'm gonna throw this in here. I'm gonna throw this in here. When I accepted my part, I started to pray. Right? I read books about the power of a praying wife. Um, I went into fasting and praying, and I said, "God, change me," because reading that book exemplify us. She said we have to pray about ourselves, and that's what I did.
Okay.
Right? I was like, God, change me. God, touch me, heal me. Right? So that's what I did, and it was a constant prayer. Right? I couldn't. I mean, I prayed so much. This is what I did. I had one of my pastors come into the home, right, to do a therapy session because he didn't want to go to therapy. So I kind of tricked him. I kind of tricked him into a therapy. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Yeah, that's that foolishness right there. Kinda. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I tricked him.
I
into
told a little lie. Okay.
Just so that we can kind of
That's right.
because I realized it was our communication.
I got you.
Right? I spoke and he understood a different way. He spoke and I understood a different way. And that was me trying to pull us together.
Okay.
So if you try all of that and the other party doesn't want to do it, what do you do? Because I recommended therapy for us. I begged and pleaded for it. I went on my knees for myself, in changing me. But if the other person doesn't wanna,
Have you learned the gift of listening to yourself?
go on.
Do you hear what you're asking?
If I hear what I'm asking,
Yeah.
no,
That's a gift too.
Okay, go on.
You're asking a question, but are you listening to you?
I believe I am.
What did you just say? What was the question?
How how can what did I ask now? Yeah, now I
Right. It's a gift. Because Keisha, if you really was listening to your question,
yeah,
you would have been like, "Oh, there I go again." Because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
You're still saying, I started doing. See, you was doing what you were doing to change the outcome of the marriage.
Right.
Instead of doing what you were doing to change your outcome. Your
Say that
yeah.
Say that again.
You was doing what you was doing to change the outcome of the marriage. That ain't your business. Now you talking about a hard lesson for me, Keisha.
Yeah.
Is learning, you know what I'm saying? That if to be a believer, as a believer, that really wants to, you remember, I'm over the naming and claiming. You remember the naming. A lot of people, well, I name and claim, I declare and decree, and I can declare and decree a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
But my credit and my finances don't line
Don't
up.
line up.
That's some foolishness.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
What we can do as we mature and develop in Christ is that we can ask that his perfect and divine will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Okay.
And he's so God that he plans for us his purpose is for us to be in good health and to prosper and to be in good health, and to prosper. I don't care how you flip that thing up. It's good, right?
Yeah.
He wants us to be able to live exceedingly and abundantly above all that we could ask or think.
Yes.
You do not see in the Bible where he is now. Adam and Eve got married in the beginning. That was the first marriage we knew.
Yeah.
But when he talked to Adam, who did he talk to Adam about? In Genesis.
Yeah, Eve.
I mean, no, not really.
Okay, who did he talk to
Adam about? He was talking to Adam about what he did.
Yes.
God gave Adam specifics. He said, do not.
Do not eat of the fruit.
That's what he said. He didn't say, I don't understand. He was talking to Adam.
Right, not Eve.
But then when Adam did it, he blamed it on who?
Adam.
It's from the beginning. That's what's been going on.
Yes, yes.
We want to always shift the blame.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I'm very good. That's one of my gifts. I got the gift of listening.
Okay.
And I teach people
Yes.
to listen. If you listen to what you said, because people will get mad at me, and I'll be like, yo, I just repeated.
What you
What
said.
you said. That's what
Right.
you said. I didn't say
Okay.
that. What you said.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said I started praying. I was reading the book about a praying wife.
Mm-hmm.
Did that book tell you what was going to happen?
No.
That book told you what to do as a praying wife.
That's right.
It did not tell you that if you pray like this wife, your husband gonna do this. It did not. I ain't read the book. I know that.
Right.
That's not what it's because it was teaching you what to do.
Yes.
Hear me again when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
I know the reason why I'm not married.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before, because of my low self-esteem, my low self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
my lack of knowledge and belief in Christ, in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
I thought it was because whatever they were doing, right?
Yes, yes.
And as I keep doing the work and as God keeps calling me higher as an encourager and as a teacher, you got to be a better student.
Mm-hmm.
What I've learned, Keisha, it was because I kept taking my eye
Mm-hmm.
off of listen, you said Proverbs 31 woman.
Mm-hmm.
If you really wanted to be a Proverbs 31 woman,
Yeah.
when we really want to be one, that woman did her work. It didn't say it didn't say she got up early in the morning.
Right.
She made sure.
She
It
did.
was about what she was
She's
doing.
doing.
It ain't said nothing about him.
That's true. That's true.
That's what she did.
Yes.
And as a result of her being her,
Yes.
God honored her.
Yes.
The Bible says that a man that finds a wife finds a good thing and
obtains
favor
from the Lord.
yeah, because God is going to favor your husband with you
Yeah.
and my husband with me
Yeah.
because we are committed to God.
That's right.
We keep wanting to be committed to them.
Mm.
Listen, Keisha, if I'm committed to God,
Yes.
guess what's going to happen?
It will flourish.
Everybody. If I'm committed to God, I'm not going to be able to I don't even know the producer.
Yes.
But because I'm committed to honoring God,
Yes.
I ain't even got to know him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to honor him.
Yeah.
When I'm committed to honoring God,
Mm-hmm.
it allows me to honor you.
Mm-hmm.
It's causing me to be able to honor my sons. They're 35 and 33.
Oh, wow.
A few years back, I still was having conversations with them because I'm your mama. Come on, Keish. Y'all ain't dishonoring her when I call her Keish. That's just when we really like your
we really
Keish.
chopping it up.
Yeah. I still got round the way. I'm so hip hop. Look, I don't take away from that. I love how he called me, how he created me. You don't remember the movie Belly, do you?
No, I don't.
When he come in the house, DMX, girlfriend you remember. You don't either? Y'all, I'm so hip hop. When DMX would come in the house, he would say, "Yo, Keish." That was his girlfriend name. So thus lies the Yo Keish. Yo Keish. I loved it when he said it. I loved him. But anyway,
right.
See, I can be I love everything about me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
I don't have to switch it up no more.
That's right.
I remember a time when I wouldn't have made. I love DMX. I done made reference to DMX. I done made reference to Biggie.
Right.
And I love the Lord.
Right. Well, I'm a Caribbean girl.
Okay, so right.
So I'm a Barris Hammond kind
That's
of
who
woman.
you are.
Yeah.
Right. One love, all that kind of carrying on. But see, that's who and guess what, Keisha? I get to be. You get to be. And I don't have to worry about changing who God has created me to be for you.
Yes.
So when they talk about being out of order, that's what that is. Because Keisha, you said, if I did all of that, he still didn't. You was doing it not for the glory of God.
Right.
But for him to be like, I've done it, Keisha.
Yes. I did it to help. I did it so that the marriage would be successful. I did it to feel, the love that I've always wanted.
We talked about it yesterday and she said it to you today.
Yes.
Who gives the increase?
God does. Come on now. Yes. You are so correct. You're so correct.
I remembered when I asked you.
Yeah.
You remember what I asked you?
When today?
No. The first time we spoke. and you said that you were divorced. Are you divorced yet?
I am.
Okay, you're divorced.
I am.
Do you remember what I asked you about him?
I don't remember.
I don't want to say it out loud unless you.
No, it's okay.
I asked you.
Oh yeah.
Can I say that out loud?
Yes, you can.
I said, I ask you, do you think y'all will get married again? And the reason that I felt that I could hear that because the reason that I ask you that is because anytime I hear somebody talk about what they did, it's indicative of the fact that God had. I've seen people. Have you heard of people that got married again?
Yeah, I have.
They had to because it was out of order the first time.
Yeah.
It was out of order. It wasn't a marriage of husband and wife.
Yeah.
Husband and wife, a marriage, a covenant, a marriage should be. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like two people. You said that was your best
And he
friend.
was my best friend.
And you wanted your best friend to make you whole.
My God.
And God, he is the dopest I know.
Yeah.
He wasn't putting up with that. He not gonna have it. Keisha, he not gonna let me put tea before nobody.
2024 Ignite Change Empowerment Virtual Conference. Join us for 3 days on February 23rd-25th, 2024 from 6 p.m. 9 p.m. EST by CTR Media Network. Are you ready to unlock your potential and make a meaningful impact? This is an opportunity to connect with a diverse audience and contribute to breaking down barriers that hinder progress. Support the cause, sponsorship and collaboration opportunities. While the speaker opportunity is free, we are offering limited opportunities for sponsorship, vendor slots, advertisement spots, and welcome donations to support the production of this transformative event. If you represent a media company, business, podcaster, or any organization interested in collaboration, please reach out to info@ctrmedianetwork.com or visit our website at www.ctrmedianetwork.com.